I figured it was a money thing. You know what I mean? That was my first gut was, who'd you piss off? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Who did you money? You know what I mean? Some deal went bad was what my first thought was. Whether or not it was the Freemason thing, I don't know.
This is Jared Bridegan, and he's about to walk into a deadly ambush. On a February evening in 2022, Jared is driving back to his Florida home after dropping his 9-year-old twins off with his ex-wife Shanna Gardner. Along the way, Jared sees a tyre lying in the middle of the road. When he gets out of his vehicle to remove the obstruction, he's shot multiple times by an unseen gunman. The bullets narrowly miss Jared's 2-year-old daughter, who remains strapped into a car seat as her father dies next to the SUV. Investigators launch a homicide investigation and quickly learn that Jared had gone through a bitter divorce with his ex-wife Shanna. When detectives question Shanna and her current husband Mario Fernandez Saldana, they have cast-iron alibis. Hoping she can shed light on this real-life murder mystery, police interview someone who has known both Jared and Shanna for years, Shanna's best friend, Kim Jensen. What police don't know is that they are about to be pulled into a shocking true crime story with twisted secrets, unexpected betrayals, and a whole new level of bitter divorce.
How's your day going?
Pretty good.
So I'm sure you know this is about Jared and what happened to him.
Yeah.
Someone had said that you knew Jared even before Shanna. Is that correct or no?
Oh, I've known Jared and his family since he was like 12 or 13 years old. Okay. Whenever they moved to Jacksonville from wherever they moved. We were never close, but I've known him since he was a kid. I knew the girls that he dated when he was a teenager. I knew, you know what I mean? Like, I've known that family for probably 20 years.
Okay. Do you go to the same church as them? You're in the same ward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about Jared and his family, from what you can remember. Anything standing out?
We were never friends. I knew his mother. I was friendly. I'm one of those people that I'm just, what you see is what you get. Uh-huh. I'm real. If I don't like you, I won't be friends with you, but I will be kind. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say good morning and keep on walking down the hall of the church, whatever.
Of course.
So I knew his family from a distance. I did attend a baby shower or two that maybe his mom hosted at their home. Mm-hmm. But we were never close by any means. Jared was he was kind of quiet as a kid. Mm-hmm. He never had a lot of friends. The girls he dated in the church, two things that I remember always: never dated a girl that wasn't loaded with money, and never didn't end the relationship that everyone talked about what a jerk he was. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that broke the girls' hearts. He was, he puts on, you know what I mean? He would be nice at first, and then the real Jared would come out. Okay. When then I met Shanna, I knew about Shanna when he married her, because his mom was so excited because she was, from this rich family, and, mm-hmm. Their life was going to be so great and blah, blah, blah. And then she had twins and ended up having pulmonary hypertension, mm-hmm. and they had to move to Florida. So I met Shanna about maybe 8.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I have twins. So, and she actually was one of my teenage daughter's teachers in the youth program.
Okay.
And so she and I got to be friends while she was still married to Jared, because number one, I knew his family. Number two, I felt sorry for her that she married him. Number three, she taught my kid, mm-hmm. and we kind of had that common bond with the twin thing. Gotcha. So that's how she and I became friends.
Okay.
And then as time went on, probably within a year of them moving here, like, she and I became better and better friends. And now, I probably talk to Shanna 5-6 times a week, maybe every day.
Okay, so you say you guys are really good friends.
We're really good friends. Yeah. We're really good friends. I was one of the few people who stood beside her when they got divorced. When the divorce happened, I knew that she was going to tell him, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. I knew he was going to flip out, just because of the personality that I had always remembered or whatever. Right. He went around and he accused her of having an affair to everyone. And the way it worked was, at the very beginning, the kids would be with her from, for 2 days, and then they kept them at the home, and then for 3 days she'd have them, and then it kind of went back and forth on a 2-3 kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And the days that she did not have the children, she oftentimes spent the night at my house, and he was around telling her, oh, she's off, she didn't come home last night, she's sleeping with it, and she was on my couch. She wasn't sleeping with anybody.
Right.
So it was not hard for me to stand by her, because I knew where she was, because she was with me most of the time. We kind of like adopted her and the kids, and so that's how she and I became better friends than we were, and why we are good friends today.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. You made a comment that you were kind of sorry she married Jared. What do you mean by that?
Only because anyone that I had known that he'd ever dated would always end up where the girl was hurt.
Gotcha. Okay, so just kind of a track record of...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. His
track record was hurting girls and never dating anyone that had money. In fact, it was always interesting because I always thought he had an algorithm or something for it. You know what I mean? Like, how does a dude go for 3 girls in a row that have a freaking trust fund? Like, how does any guy get that lucky? How does anyone get that? You know what I mean? Like, it almost makes you think he's got a system, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just don't think anyone is that good of luck.
Okay. Or your perception of his other brothers?
I only vaguely knew Justin, and only because Justin was older, and Jared was the youngest. I never knew the sister Ashley. I don't even ever remember her. She may have been like gone before they moved. Like, I have zero memory of her.
Gotcha.
Other than throughout the years, like, she would come visit, and this is our daughter Ashley, and it's like, she looks just like her mom, so you know what I mean. It was easy to see that, but I never knew her. Justin married Gwen and had the little boy, and I think they were living in North Carolina, and then they moved back, and so they were in the ward at church for a brief period of time. She was a teacher in the little kids program, and I was over that program, so I got to know her, but I only knew who he was. I know he would give a talk, and he was a good speaker. Do you know what I mean? But I never knew Justin.
Yeah.
Adam was married to Carly, who they were in the ward for some time. She worked in the youth program with my oldest daughter, and they were very good friends. I always thought Adam was gay. He was, his job, he was a manny. He babysat and even married. You're babysitting. You know what I mean? Like, that was just weird to me. Like, I would never leave my children with a guy. Even if, you know what I mean? Even if I knew you at church, that's just weird to me.
Yeah.
And so I always thought he was weird. Like, he's very nice, but that always struck me as weird. Any guy that has babysitter as your job is weird to me. But I might be a little judgy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
No, I totally understand.
So.
And so, you're friends with Shanna. You kind of see what's going on with Jared and her. What, in your opinion, what was kind of the cause of their divorce?
So he was I used to go over the house, and he was very antisocial. Like, he didn't, if I went over, so I could walk. We both lived in Ponte Vedra. It was a long walk, but I could walk from my house to hers in about half an hour. So sometimes, I'm going to go for a walk in the evening. I'd go over there, hang out, maybe I'd walk back, maybe she'd drive me home, whatever. I'd walk in, and he would instantly go to his bedroom.
Okay.
Anytime I was there during the day, he had zero engagement or involvement. He pretty much stayed in his bedroom, unless it was time to eat or he had to come out for some reason. He pretty much stayed in his bedroom. He was on his laptop. He never worked the entire time they were married. That to me is a red flag. You got a husband that doesn't work. You know what I mean? You married the rich girl, and now you don't work.
Right.
And the family did give stipends for education. Education is very important to Shanna's family. And so if either of you were in school, you got a monthly stipend that would cover your expenses. So nobody had to work, but he kept himself in school. You know what I mean? It was the bachelor's, then it was the masters. You know what I mean? Like, he kept himself in school to not work.
Gotcha.
I always thought he was lazy. He's very much like his father. I know that when they were going through the divorce, his mother tried to be my friend, which I found funny because you're just fishing. You just want me to give you something that will help him, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was so obvious. Like, we've never been friends in, 16 years, and now all of a sudden you want to be my friend. That's just kind of weird. It was like, oh, how's Shanna? I mean, like, you don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was very surface level. Oh, she's fine. She's doing fine. And so, I don't know if, so he would, so things, just little things, she would cook meals, you know what I mean? Like, she was the typical mom, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
She took care of everybody, she took care of everything, she did all the things, and, he came out for food, but zero, like I said, just the interaction with the kids just wasn't there. I don't know why. Clearly, from the videos that are being shown on the news and articles or whatever, he has evolved a little bit and become a better parent than he started out.
Right.
I mean, and I believe people can change. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe he changed. I believe he changed his public persona.
Gotcha.
If I'm, you know what I mean? Like, but like I said, this is all conjecture too. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't live with him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he would do things like we came in one time and there was a box of like hair dye on the counter. And I was like, that's weird for a place for it. And she texted me later and said, he told me he thought I would look better if my hair was this color. Like, just that was Jared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to give you a hint.
Kinda,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Jared was just an ass. He was always an ass. You know what I mean? Like, even if he didn't yell, like, there was always I'm an ass undertone with Jared.
Gotcha. So,
he was like that with church. Like I said, even people at church where, that's supposed to be your place where, friends and family come and, you know what I mean? You worship, you do whatever. Like, he was always on his phone. He didn't engage in conversation. Like, there might be one or two people who actually were his friend.
Gotcha.
And it's just so funny to me because even people that I know who completely despised him, now they're all talk about him like he was this saint. And I'm just like, y'all don't remember what you actually know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if people are just fake or, you know what I mean? It's a sad story, so you're sharing it everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what people's motives are, or if you think that's your duty because you knew him. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of comical to me watching some of the people who are so over the top on things, and I'm thinking, he hurt your daughter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's things in my head that go through, like, you know what I mean? If someone hurt my kid the way he hurt some of these people's kids, I just can't imagine having the position. You know what I mean? It's sad we want it solved, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be your biggest cheerleader here.
Right.
Because I really don't have any skin in the game.
I understand. So what would you say what would you see kind of happen since you were so close to it after their divorce? How was Shanna? What was her demeanor? And...
So Shanna, after the divorce, Shanna struggled hard emotionally. She struggled hard emotionally. She had 3 jobs. He continued to not work. I think their divorce was final like in July, maybe. It was 7 years ago, but I think it was July was the month that it was final. And she had 3 jobs. He had a job. Actually, I take that back. He got a job once she filed for divorce.
Gotcha.
And then as soon as the divorce proceedings were going and child support came up, he emailed his boss, because the lawyer was able to get HR records, emailed his boss and said he was no longer able to work because of his personal situation. However, he did continue to work and they paid him under the table. he just didn't want it to look like he worked on paper, so he wouldn't be charged with child support because he was bitter that her family had money, and he didn't think he should have to pay child support when her family was rich.
Gotcha.
But they were his kids, not her family's kids. So, you know what I mean? Like that, that whole, you know what I mean? You're a dad. That's your job. You know what I mean? You pay for the kids. She worked 3 jobs. She was exhausted. She put the kids in like a daycare. They used to go to, it was right over in Ponte Vedra, by Publix. It was like I don't think, it was like in Sawgrass. In November, she was so grateful because he emailed or texted her. He refused to speak to her ever. There was 0 verbal communication between the two of them, probably in the whole time that they were divorced. He left. He was leaving the state. He was going to Utah. Said he'd taken a job or something. But really he was on the prowl for another girl. And so he was gonna, the deal was if she would sign a change in parenting agreement and she would agree to let him see the kids every other weekend, he was gonna fly back and see them. He would, you know, we would be good. We just agreed to this. We don't have to do lawyers. We'll just agree to this, get it notarized, file it with court. We're done. So she did it. She was so grateful. But then it was, he's going to FaceTime the kids every single day. And, you know, he would tell them, oh, you know, Dad's coming into town. I'm going to bring you so many presents. And then, you know, he didn't come. He would, oh, I'm busy at work. You know what I mean? So it was like he would build the kids up and try to get them so excited to see him. And then I think he ended up coming maybe like 5 or 6 times. So during that time when he was gone, life was much better other than the FaceTimes were just disruptive to they were 3. You know what I mean? So
it's kind of young to be FaceTiming.
Every day was just, FaceTime's great. I think you need to see your kids, but every day was just much, you know? And so anyway, so her attorney filed something. We found out where he was working. And I think his mom blurted it out in church one day, and I was like, I found out where he works. And so her attorney emailed and found out that he was out there and he was working, and he was making like $90,000 a year. And here she is working 3 jobs. He's paying for nothing. You know, she told him the kids were in preschool, you know, and he was like, oh, you know, I'm barely making anything. I just, you know, if I'm going to be able to afford to fly there, I'm not going to be able to afford to pay whatever, you know what I mean? So like he sent $0 and he's out there living large, and come to find out so she starts prying around, her attorney starts prying around, they're going to file something for child support. He quit like that. Quit his job and was going to move back to Florida, and came back with a new girl in tow. And then life became hell again. But because they had filed this thing with the court that only gave him the right to see the kids every other weekend, he thought he was going to come back and instantly it would go back to mine for 2 days, yours for 3, you know what I mean? And then you got that kind of a thing. And so it turned into this big kerfuffle of she was withholding the children. He was going to have her arrested for kidnapping. He wanted to see them when he wanted to see them. And she was like, sorry. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, she was following what was currently filed with the court, you know, and I realize that has gotten spun in a different way all through the news, but I mean, that's what happened. That's the truth.
No, I understand. He thought he was going to come back and it was just going to go back to
I'm back in town, you know what I mean? And I'm still not paying for anything, and you know what I mean? And I'm going to, you know, not that paying for anything had anything to do with seeing your kids, but the current thing filed with the court said you get them every other weekend. You know, you get them from like Saturday morning to Sunday night. That's what the thing said. Or maybe it was Friday. You know, I think it was Saturday morning because he would get in late on Friday when he did come. So, you know, but I mean, there was never a custody battle. I mean, that was determined at the divorce. It was 50-50. You know, the only thing that ever changed with custody was They realized that as the kids got older, I think by the time they were 4, the 2-day, 3-day, the kids never knew, even at school, am I going home with mom? Am I going home with dad? Like, it got too hard on them doing too many switches too soon. And so they themselves decided to try week on, week off.
Right.
With a date night on Wednesday in the middle. Mm-hmm. And they put that in practice for a few months to just try it out. And the kids were happier. They were happier. That midweek breakup gave, the other parent to see them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then but that was just between them. And so he would try to hold her hostage over that. It was like, okay, well, I have something coming up, and if you don't agree to make this timeshare switch or this week switch, the kids won't be available on date night. And so he always tried to use the kids to get what he wanted from her.
It's like a leveraging tool, kind of.
Yeah, like he used them like pawns.
Yeah.
And so I said, take him back to court and make it permanent. It's working. We got work. If the judge signs it, then he can't hold date night hostage. Yeah. It just is what it is, and he'll have to abide by it. He always tried to take that off the table. Always, through all, as the kids get older, they're going to have extracurriculars. It's not going to be feasible. And her thing, everything he ever threw at her was, she would go to the kids and she would say, do you guys like date night? Do you want to do date night? Yes, Mom. She's like, okay. And so she would fight. Mm-hmm. If they wanted it, she fought for it. Yeah. To me, like, Shanna was always like the best example of a mom because she always put her kids first. Mm-hmm. If it was important to them, she fought for it. If it was something they didn't care about, it's not worth fighting for it because they don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
Her kids' mental and emotional and physical well-being was always her number one priority. Always.
Just to kind of back you up a little bit here. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of questions and I want to ask them. I don't want to forget. What was your thought about when Shanna decided that she kind of wanted to leave the church?
Like I said, you probably interviewed a lot of church people.
Actually, no, really.
No?
Haven't.
You haven't? Okay. For me, I think there are good people and bad people in every church, every industry, every business, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that I'm only going to be your friend if you go to church with me.
Gotcha.
I'm one of those people that if you don't go to church with me, I'm not going to not be your friend.
Yeah.
If I'm your friend, it's because I genuinely like you and I'm your friend. Mm-hmm. I stuck with Shanna regardless of that. I was a little bit sad because I felt like she left the church because she was trying to disassociate herself with anything that reminded her of him.
Gotcha. He
always acted like church was the most important thing to him. Mm-hmm. But when he had the kids, they would come back and they would say, she would say, oh, what'd you guys do with Dad this weekend? Did you go to church? No, Dad said it was closed. And she would text me and she'd be like, what? And I'm like, well, it was open. I was there. You know what I mean? So it's like, they were 3. He could get away with saying whatever he wanted to. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I didn't really, think anything. I knew her parents would be sad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, when you're raised in any religion or any culture and that's been all you've known your whole life, I'm sure there's a heaviness or a sadness in your parents when you stray away from that.
Of course, absolutely.
But it didn't really affect me because I genuinely loved Shanna.
Yeah. And you said Shanna was working 3 jobs. Were her parents like kind of helping her out or?
No, her parents had stopped helping her out. They kind of cut her off because, he wasn't in school, so the stipend was off. Mm-hmm. She considered going to school to get the stipend. Yeah. However, she had twin toddlers. You know what I mean? It was hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she was kind of one of those things where it was like, I don't need anybody else. I'm strong. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, she worked at Publix. She worked at the YMCA. She worked at... she would meal prep for people and she'd come into your house and she'd meal prep you for a week. You know what I mean? She put some in the freezer, some in the fridge, and then you'd just pop it out and you'd cook it.
Gotcha.
And so she had, and she was constantly, if she wasn't at one, she was at the other. If she wasn't at that one, she was asleep on the couch. You know what I mean? It was like, she was just, it was one of those things where she ran herself ragged trying to make ends meet for the kids so that she could give them what they needed and what they wanted.
Gotcha.
Because she was kind of running solo at that point.
Gotcha.
Her parents, I think her parents cut her off because they weren't in favor of divorce, and I don't think they wanted to believe that he was as horrible as she said, that he was as manipulative and narcissistic as she said.
Right.
But then as they saw the emails and the texts and the nastiness that came out, he even tried to sue them when they got divorced. Mm-hmm. He tried to sue them. He wanted them to continue paying to finish his master's degree. And he also pulled a stunt where he tried to sue them because he had been married to her when, I think it was over their life insurance policy. He wanted to still be entitled to that when they died because he had been married to Shanna. And, their attorney was like, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, you're not the spouse. You know what I mean? Like, you have no claim on, the parents. But, I mean, it was always about money with him.
Gotcha. That's
what drove him. He tried to create an app. I think it was called Mezzy. My kid had a shirt from it. He gave it all the girls. They would come over to Shanna's and sleep over, and he was the husband, and they all had these Mezzy shirts. And I know that they had taken, I think, $100,000 or $150,000 of her trust, her savings or something, and the parents had given him another $150,000. I don't know how much it costs to start an app,
right?
But it never launched. And $300,000 was tanked into it doing something.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did through all the issues with visitations and going back and forth and date night and all that stuff, did you ever see where was either one that come maybe trying to gain more custody over the kids, or?
I think both would have been happier if they could have, but I mean, it's Florida. I mean, you pretty much have to have a parent in jail or have a mom for a crack. Or, I mean, it's 50-50. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And, her lawyer told her, this parenting plan, this consent final, the CFJ, this is your Bible till they're 18. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what you wanted and what was possible, you know what I mean? It wasn't the same. I mean, he always tried to, he was very accusatory. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, if you're dating someone, they're not good. You know what I mean? They're not allowed to FaceTime if you're with anyone but yourself. You know what I mean? Like he was always, he tried to control the situation and her life even outside of marriage. Mm-hmm. He has this need for control.
Well, why do you think that is? Why do you think he was trying to control her and had all these rules about the FaceTime and all that?
Because he's a narcissist. His mother, she'll tell you, he's just like his father. He's very controlling. He's a narcissist. Mm-hmm. They went to therapy. They went to a church therapist, which always makes me laugh because you go to a church therapist, you can give a Sunday school answer, and they'll say, check, you pass. You know what I mean? Go to a real therapist, it's going to make you do the work. You know what I mean? I'm never a fan of church therapists, whatever that actually means. But they went to one, and she saw it straight away. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a narcissist. Yeah. He always had to be in control. He had to be in control of the story. I'm the victim. She cheated on me. No one else would leave me for any other reason because I'm so, you know what I mean? And I mean, I get it. As his family, they ran with that. It's easier to say, oh, my son's wife cheated on him. You know what I mean? Than, my son's an ass and his wife left. You know what I mean? What sounds better? You know what I mean? I get it. Of course. I get it. Yeah. But, you know.
So then, kind of knowing Mario, or knowing Shanna, knowing Jared, what were your thoughts when you were she's like, oh, hey, I'm with this new guy named Mario. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think she met him at the gym. I think it was CrossFit, maybe. She met him there. And my thought was, you don't need to be with anybody. Mm-hmm. You need to go fix what he broke. you don't need to date anybody. Let's figure out you. Let's learn how to just be happy with you and not be dependent on anyone else. Just, you know what I mean? That was always my advice. I didn't want her dating anyone. I certainly didn't want her marrying anyone.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't know him per se. I mean, I met him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He certainly is. He doesn't. Jared might be an ass, but if you just saw him, you might even think he was a nice guy.
Gotcha.
You see Mario and he doesn't, it's not same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then, don't judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean? Like,
gotcha.
I've seen how much Mario has, like, he adored those kids. He filled voids that Jared was creating. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, those kids wanted you to sit on the floor and build Legos and, you know what I mean? They wanted that kind of dad. And Jared wasn't that guy. They wanted cuddles. Jared was always, I'm so hot. He was so hot. He always had to sleep with a box fan. It was the weirdest thing. You know what I mean? And like Mario, he's small. Like that was my biggest thing with Shannon. I was like, you never marry a dude that's shorter than you. That's just, you don't do that. You know? She's like, my sister said the same thing. You know what I mean? It was like, you know what I mean? So I mean, my should you not was not because I thought he was bad. It was, it's just not, you broke all my rules. But I wasn't marrying him, so it didn't really matter what I thought. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you were looking for someone who was the polar opposite of Jared, even in appearance, you found him. You know what I mean? But like, I really didn't have any baseline of, is he good? Is he bad? Is he just fine? Yeah. I saw how well and how great he did with the kids, and the kids just loved him. They talked about him all the time, which kind of resonated with me, and I really think that resonated with her. You know what I mean? I mean, what's the way to a single mom's heart? Love her kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like, like a playbook. So, but he, unlike Jared, like, he didn't seem to have any motive that way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he ever thought he'd even get married.
Gotcha.
I think they got married hoping it would be a good marriage and that it would be good for the kids, and it would, because he was so good with the kids, it would help them, you know what I mean? Yeah. In this transition.
Gotcha. Did you find it odd that they got married so quick?
I did. But I understood why they got married so quick, because even though I tried so hard to talk to her and give her strength about how he can't control you unless you let him, she always was in fear that, if I live with him, then he'll try to take me to court and, you know what I mean, and say, she's being a bad example for the kids, and you know what I mean? Like, she never wanted to give up more custody than she had and that she was entitled to.
Gotcha.
And there was always that fear. I mean, he was a narcissist that chipped away at her. I mean, she was in therapy long before I knew her. Even when they lived in Connecticut, she was in therapy because it was hard for her to handle him and all he threw at her. And he really did chip away at her a little at a time. He did. So I was cautiously optimistic. I understood what her thought processes were, but I would have not been happy if she would have been my daughter. I'd have tried to stop it. Gotcha. You need more time under your belt. Make sure you know him, and you know what I mean? Like all just the normal mom things that go through your head. So I did, but I knew they were trying to do right by the kids. You know what I mean? So I always kind of hoped that everything would just be fine.
And then throughout the relationship, did you get to know him any better? Or?
I did. We had, he always used to talk to me. He always wanted to talk to me about church. Why do you believe in God? And, why don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, we would kind of go back and forth like that. And, one time we had I was like, I mean, do you not at all? Well, I believe in something. What is that? Oh, I believe in some, there's got to be a higher power. I mean, obviously there has to be. You know what I mean? Like something like that, and we mostly talked about things like that. He talked about, I think, if there's something going on with the kids, it would be, he would give his 2 cents, and sometimes they were good cents and sometimes they weren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I was never close to Mario, but definitely friendly with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I go to Shanna's all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we're always on the phone. You know what I mean? A lot of times I'll be on speakerphone while they're in the car or whatever. You know what I mean? So I mean, he was always around.
Yeah.
But we weren't. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he was just, that's who Shanna was married to. But Shanna's my friend. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I wasn't trying to find like a couples dating pool or something. You know what I mean? Like, my relationship was mostly just Shanna, but I know Mario. I would say he's my friend.
Gotcha. Would you say that as of late their relationship has changed a little bit?
I don't know that their relationship has changed per se. Like, I mean, I know all the dynamics of what's happening. His intentions are good. His execution is poor.
Gotcha.
Because he was raised in a third world country where they do things very differently. And I think when kids are divorced kids, they create a set of survival skills on how I survive in this house and how I survive in that house. And maybe how I act in this house is not the same as how I act in this house.
Of course.
Because I have to do whatever it is to keep this parent happy that I'm with. And I think he was much better at it. Him. Didn't like the game. You know what I mean? Spent a lot of time in trouble over there at Jared and Kirsten's house. That's all he talked about. Yeah. He would say something wrong on date night and be told then you're going to be punished just when you get back on Monday. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where, and part of it was Jared wanted them to hate Shanna as much as he did. To me, I don't care who you are, and I've got siblings who are divorced and have kids and whatever. My number one rule is, I'm going to love you the best I can at my house, and Dad's going to love you the best way he can at his house. And how I feel about your dad should never be relayed to you if you're the kid.
100% agree.
That's my job, is to protect you.
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to love you. And Shanna always did that. It could have been the day from hell with emails back and forth and this, that, and the other, and they would say something about him, and her response was always very simple. It was, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Or, I'm sorry that Dad made you sad. Or she never said, it was never, I understand. You know what I mean? Like, she never engaged in that, ever. Gotcha. Whereas the kids themselves, because I spent a lot of time with the kids. I love the kids. And they would say, I get in trouble if I say anything about my mom at my dad's house. My dad hates my mom. That makes me very sad. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they would tell you, In fact, one time they told Shanna and did not want me to find out because she was so embarrassed. He told them that they shouldn't do anything with me because I was bad. So anyone who was friends with Shanna, you're automatically bad.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm a bad person. So, you know what I mean? It was just that. I just feel like when it came to Shanna, it was toxic, But I never witnessed anything other than, you know what I mean? Sometimes she'd put them in bed and she'd call me and she's sobbing because I had to tell, you know what I mean? I had to just sit there and let them tell me whatever, you know what I mean? And, I always admired that part of her motherhood, is that she always put them first and always felt that it would be detrimental if she ever said anything bad about him. So, and as far as Mario, he just wanted to, he wanted them to stand up for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, ask him why you're getting punished. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted them to, like, be independent and strong and like at Shanna's house, like, if they would cry and whine for something, that wasn't going to get them anything. It would get them anything they wanted over there. Just don't cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, why would you act two different ways? You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't understand the concept of kids have to come up with those survival skills.
Yes, right.
So, Mario's just not the marrying kind, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he's very just, I don't know. I don't think any of that was ever important to him. I don't even think he ever saw himself getting married. But I do think that he loves Shannon and the kids. And, I mean, they're super great friends. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's almost like
you could be a decent person and love somebody, but not necessarily be
in love or be in love with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he loves her. I don't know that he's in love with her. Yeah. I don't know that he ever was. But he definitely loves those kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and that brings up a good point. You know, you said you don't know that he was ever in love with her. You think he married her just for the kids, basically, or you think there was more to it, or?
I don't know. I mean, Mario's very. He talks a lot. Like, sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, he talks a lot, but he's never, and he's very black and white. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's not.
He doesn't sugarcoat things. I've noticed that. I've talked to him a couple times. He doesn't seem to sugarcoat things.
He's very unfiltered, raw. He'll just spit it out.
Yeah.
And Shanna is more like, and you have to take her whole, Shanna's been emotionally battered. Mm-hmm. So she needs that feel good. She needs that. And he's not the warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
He's just, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like with his words I'm talking about, he's just very matter of fact and, oh, that hurt your feelings? Well, sorry. You know what I mean? Get over, you know what I mean? Like he's not, I don't know. I don't know how you can be such good friends, but maybe not meant for each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? On a intimate level? Yeah. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. I do know that he always loved those kids. I do know that he always wanted to, like, I don't know. And again, I told you from the beginning, I might be a little judgy. And I'm able to admit that, but I always thought that
I'm okay with it.
I always thought that, you know what I mean? Like, he just was like Napoleon syndrome. Mm-hmm. Like, they thought he was so big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he would do all the things that Jared wouldn't.
Yeah.
But that, that was only in the beginning. Like, Jared, like I said, he has somewhat evolved. Mm-hmm. I mean, in that he did do things with them sometimes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Clearly. Yeah. I don't know if it was genuine. It's just so weird to me because, like, I see the videos of him with the baby and the little girl. Shanna doesn't own any of those, and she's got a buttload of pictures, but he didn't have any hands-on involvement. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember when they first were separating, even though he wouldn't leave until he got his money, because that was his deal. He wouldn't leave the house until he got half the house. Mm-hmm. Well, that wasn't going to happen until the divorce was final. You know what I mean? It was that kind of a thing. But he lived there for months in this toxic environment because he refused to leave until he got paid. And the kids would be so confused. It was, why do we have to stay with Dad? Like, he didn't even know what to feed them, or like he didn't know anything, and they were very confused of why he would be watching them. You know what I mean? As little as they were, they understood this is what Mom does. You know what I mean? Like, what is happening? Because he was always in the bedroom. Yeah. And they always had to be quiet. That's on the computer. You know what I mean? Like, it was a very confusing, and it's like those videos that are out. It's like, wow, I mean, I'm glad that you've come around. It's, you know what I mean? But I feel sad for Abby and Liam. Like, those don't even exist. It's not that we haven't seen them. It's that they don't exist. They weren't there. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Maybe you grew up as a parent,
Maybe. I mean, Shanna's grown a ton. You know what I mean? Like, when you would hope that no matter when you have a relationship, whether it's successful or failed, that you're going to take things and become a better person as a result of the experiences that you've had. So, if he grew up some, then, kudos to him. I mean, 7 years. So you figure when she married him, and that was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time. You know what I mean? He's 21 years old. I mean, you know what I mean? How were you at 21 versus 33?
A lot different.
You know what I mean? I mean, I've got 21-year-old sons, and I'm hoping at 33 that there's going to be some evolution.
My parents were concerned for a little while, but they're good now. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did it? I'm trying to think how to word this. Did Mario's fondness for women bother Shanna at all? You think, or?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and he had some people living there and some other things and.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were women that he was with.
Mm-hmm.
He just has friends. Like he has all these friends, from like his army days, or you know what I mean. Like I don't know. And she was just like, oh, this one, this one is a hairdresser, and and I told her she could stay here, and Shannon was like, okay. And then it was, well, she's gonna pay part of the rent or part of the mortgage or whatever, you know what I mean? And then 2 weeks later, her boyfriend is living there too. And then, and I told Shannon, I'm like, this is your house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm like, and so that didn't last very long at all. It was just more annoying. He's married, but he still kind of lives like a single guy. You know what I mean? Like, he never understood what marriage meant. Like, to me, if I'm going to move someone in the house and I do that without my husband, we're going to have an issue. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the friend thing, that didn't bother her. That didn't bother her as much as just, he just doesn't always considerate of her feelings. How about that?
Yeah.
He doesn't always, like, for me, like, my first thought is, is my husband going to be okay with this? You know what I mean? He doesn't have that.
Gotcha.
That doesn't go through here.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's, it just makes good sense. I'm going to charge her $600 to stay in this spare room. You know what I mean? And he looks at it, and that's how he looks at it. You know what I mean? I don't know that it's even intentional. It's just how he's wired.
Yeah. So maybe it's a money thing, bringing a little extra income for the two of them.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you say, has anyone ever stand in your mind that Shanna, you've met, or that Shanna talks about, that just seems like kind of odd ducks that he hangs out with?
That he hangs out with? No, because he really doesn't hang out with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He's, you know what I mean? He's just around, He's got, like, these rental properties that bring in money, and, he pretty much is always home.
Yeah.
He's always there. It's rare. Like, if he's not at a doctor's appointment, or, you know what I mean, or some kind of appointment, like medical appointment, which I think he's got quite a few different things. I think he's on some portion of disability from the military or something. So other than appointments, like, he's a homebody. Yeah. He's always there. You know what I mean? Like, now maybe, so-and-so's coming in from out of town, and you know what I mean? And the whole group might get together and go, have a couple beers. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's few and far between.
Was he ever the one that kind of take crazy trips?
No. He would take, like, I don't know, I think he's got family. Like, his family's like, always, if anyone gets in trouble, they call Uncle Mario because he'll help them. You know what I mean? So, you got a niece that's fighting with her parents, and you know what I mean? What do I do? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you go talk to the parents, and, so he was like more like the family mitigator.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I've never heard of him taking a trip that had something to do with other than family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I've known throughout the years of him taking trips, but it always had a family, some cousin or some niece, or you know what I mean? It was always family. I never heard about trips anywhere other than family stuff.
Gotcha. And did he have a brother living there at some point, and something happened with that?
Guillermo. He was there. He got out of the military, and he was staying with them. He wasn't living with them. He was just staying there. And they had a falling out because, I don't know, he was letting the kids say his name improperly, and Mario was like, no, make them say your name the way it is. And he was like, they're little kids. But again, Mario doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had this big falling out over the kids' inability to say Guillermo. And he told him to leave. But he only just went to the sister's house. You know what I mean? Like he kind of bought back and forth between them just for the time that he was in town. Mm-hmm. But it was never he was living with them situation.
Yeah. Okay.
That was just, I think it was like a week or something.
Gotcha. So his sister lives here too?
His sister lives here too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's her name? Do you know?
Neely?
I don't know. I was just curious. Not a big thing there.
I don't know. I don't know. Mealy, I think. That's how he says it. I don't know if that's short for something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've met her a couple times.
So what did you think when you first heard about Jared, getting killed?
Well, Shanna called me on Thursday morning after it happened, and I could tell by her voice something was wrong. And she said, Jared's dead. And I said, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And she said, did you hear about that shooting last night in Jack's Beach? And I said, no. And she said, it was him. It was him. And I said, what? I couldn't process it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't, I was shocked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she just, and then she told me that what had happened and that Kirsten was coming over and they were going to tell the kids together. And I didn't have the time to put into the conversation because it was like 7:00 in the morning and I was leaving for the airport to go bury my mother-in-law. And so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just, and I was like, and then I was torn between, you know what I mean? It's like, I had to go do that, but I knew she probably needed, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's so, and then as people started finding out, they were texting me, and I just so happened to have Wi-Fi on the plane, whatever mm-hmm. flight we were on. I don't remember, American or Delta, one of them, but, and so it was like, oh my gosh, have you heard? You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, and you know what I mean? And they're just like, oh my gosh, that's the craziest thing, and you know what I mean? And so, I mean, it was just more of a shock than anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it was, I can remember saying, I'm sorry, what? I must have said it 3 times. Like, are you kidding me? Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought it was like I was in, like, Bizarro World or something. It was like, I just couldn't, I mean, and then, of course, the days just started unfolding, and you know what I mean? And then, so then I started following the story from the plane, and you know what I mean? That kind of a thing. And it was just so hard to wrap my head around.
Right.
That it happened to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
So just knowing Jared, knowing Shanna, knowing the whole family, knowing you probably have a better insight into their marriage and everything. Just into Jared, really. You saw his personality, whatever. I don't want to lead you, but in your brain, in your conscience, your soul, what do you think happened to him?
Well, it was always about money with him.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And he was a Freemason, he and his dad. And to me, that's just some shady crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. If you know what I mean, like, that's some shady crap. And I figured it was a money thing. You know what I mean? That was my first gut was, who'd you piss off?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who did you money? You know what I mean? Some deal went bad was what my first thought was. Whether or not it was the Freemason thing, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I do know he was into that. And when I say into it, because like I know a lot of people who are members of that.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of research on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those secret society things. You're not allowed to tell your wife anything. You know what I mean? Like anything where you are asked to keep secrets from the one person that you're supposed to be able to tell everything to is sketchy to me.
Yeah.
But because I know of his love for money and that's what drove him, my head automatically went. I figured as the story unfolded, I figured there was 2 scenarios. Either it was a business deal gone bad, or maybe some like random gang initiation, or you know what I mean, like some weird thing like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my first thought was money from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure, like, have you and Shanna like kind of talked about theories and what's been going on, and you know what's her kind of take on the situation, or?
Oh, it's very interesting how Kirsten's trying so hard to, you know, judge, jury, executioner, right, in the public eye. You know what I mean? Like she's trying real hard, you know, and you know, I mean, I have theories on that too, but you know what I mean?
What are your theories? I'd love to hear them.
Jared and Shanna, I've known a lot of people that got divorced, even including in my own family. I've never seen anyone with the venom and hatred as Jared. He was just an you know what I mean? Like to me, he was an angry person. Mm-hmm. Okay. He hated Shanna. Everyone thought he hated Shanna. I thought he was obsessed with Shanna, personally.
Interesting.
If I told you that the girl between Shanna and his current wife, and even his current wife back when Shanna was younger, they could be sisters. He had a type. Mm-hmm. Their engagement rings, if you line them all three up, you have to look hard. Their engagement poses, exact. Okay? He had a type. I think he wanted everyone to believe he hated her, but I don't really think he did. There was even an IEP meeting at a school where the guidance counselor, like he wanted, if there was a meeting for the kids, he wanted there to be two separate meetings so he didn't have to be in the same room with Shanna. Mm-hmm. Guidance counselor told him, no, we got to get all these people together. It's one meeting. You can either get the notes or you can be there. Yeah. So he would always sit, always in the corner, never would say a word, never would be near her, wouldn't make eye contact. Like, it was the weirdest thing. Mm-hmm. And the guidance counselor even asked her, how long have you been divorced? After it was over. She's like, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was. And she was like, something's wrong with him, because you shouldn't trigger him the way you trigger him after this much time. Mm-hmm. If it had been 3 months, okay, I get it. But that, you know what I mean? Like, so everyone saw that. The teachers all saw. He was just weirdly opposed to being even near her. Mm-hmm. And when he married Kirsten, so like Jared has horrible grammar, horrible spelling. Like, it's like third grade gone bad. You just want to get your red pen out and just go to town or cry if you're reading it. And when he married her, everything changed, and it was 100% obvious that she was drafting the emails. Always passive aggressive, always, you know what I mean? But you knew it was her because he didn't just get literate, you know what I mean? He always struggled in school, you know what I mean? Like, that was the thing. But anyway, so I think that the two of them enjoyed making Shanna's life hard. You know what I mean? Sending things that would hurt her. They would say things that were just hurtful. You know what I mean? And I in my initial thought was, well, the only way that she keeps his memory alive is to keep doing that. I'll make everyone hate her. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I first thought that, but now, as I've given it more and more thought, I think she's setting her up. I think Kirsten is setting Shanna up for a civil suit for wrongful death. Because in a criminal court, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. In civil, it's what, 51%? You know what I mean? Like, what you just got to have people feel sorry for you and be on your side, and she knows Shanna got money. And you just got to sell your story. Which, you know, she set Shanna up from the get-go. Mm-hmm. She told her from day one, don't say his name, don't talk to reporters, don't let anyone interview you. You know, she was going to sue the school because they put out an email saying, you know, everything we can do. Mm-hmm. And then 3 weeks later, she's on national freaking television. You know what I mean? Like, I think that 3 weeks gave her the time to create this narrative that Shanna did it. Mm. But if you even knew Shanna would never do anything that would hurt her kids. Ever. She just wouldn't. That's not what she's made of. Yeah. Her kids, I mean, she had a kid that was at the brink of death. You know what I mean? Like, he was born and he wasn't going to survive. They didn't think Liam was going to live. You know? Yeah. I mean, her entire life has been her kids and protecting them.
Yeah, I get that.
You know? I mean, that's anyone who knows the real Shanna, not the story that you've been spun off by the Bridigans that, you know, she's over and she'll sleep with anybody. You know what I mean? Like, if you know Shanna, her kids, that's all she ever wanted was kids. Mm-hmm. In fact, if you ask her if she regrets marrying Jared, she'll tell you no, because she wouldn't have her kids. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, and for all the things he did to her, you know what I mean? That's not your typical answer for someone who's spinning out about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can I get rid of him? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was always, every decision she made through her marriage and her divorce was always, how will this affect my kids? That was always her first question. Mm-hmm. Always.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And I might be wrong about her setting Shanna up for the suit or whatever, but I can see that coming.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I know you don't know, but I'm just saying, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I can see it coming. Yeah. It just seems like all the makings of, you know what I mean, of what's coming. Because you don't have to prove who killed him.
Not in a civil suit.
Not in a civil suit. No. You don't have to prove that. I mean, I know how the legal system works. My dad was a DA. I get it. Yeah. I spent many a time in the courtroom. I know how this works. And, you know, you could just see the writing on the wall if you've got any kind of familiarity with, you know, how these kind of cases go.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I think she deserves answers. You know what I mean? Everybody deserves to know. But I think if you guys were to arrest some kid who said that he was being initiated in a gang, she's going to be sad. That's not justice for her. Justice for her is being able to get Shanna. That's justice for her. Because in her mind, Shanna's the bad guy. She tormented him. She abused him emotionally. I mean, I see all the comments that go on, you know. I mean, but when you go to such extremes that you're attacking her business, you're attacking her family, you know what I mean? Like, it's getting a little much now.
So, I mean, you've seen all the comments. You see what the people are saying. No, totally impossible, or
that Shanna had anything to do with this?
Shanna or Mario?
I don't see it. I spent a lot of time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've been with on Shanna's side for 8.5 years. There's nothing that happened in the marriage or the divorce that I have not been privy to. And, you know, Mario...
Because there was no love lost between Mario and Jared. He said on the couch. And said,
oh, no, he did. He hated him. He hated what he did to him, or to her. He hated how he treated the kids. You know what I mean? Because the story you're seeing in the news is not what the story that the kids were reporting.
Of course.
However, I always tell Shanna this, when you take your notes from little children who are trying to please you at your house and him at his house, you know, there's no telling what they were saying over there either.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, again, with the survival skills.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, you got a set of survival skills per house, depending on where you are, is what you say and what you don't say. And you know that you learn that at a very young age. You learn that. Mario likes his, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, he's got a cushy life. You know what I mean? Mario is selfish. I don't think he would sacrifice that for something like this.
Yeah.
Do I think he cried tears when he found out? No. I didn't ask, but...
I did, and he said no.
But my gut tells me he wouldn't, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, that would be Mario's kind of a play, you know? It's damn the good luck, you know what I mean? But I don't see it, you know? But again, you know what I mean? I'm just Shanna's friend. You know? I know that he, for however good or bad of an actual husband he is, he's a good friend to Shanna, and My gut tells me if it was anything that was going to bring this kind of heat on Shanna, which if you know Jared's family at all, everything was always Shanna's fault in the marriage, in the divorce, forevermore. It's all her fault.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that to her and those kids.
Right. And by the way, I'm just spitballing here.
Oh,
okay?
I know.
So,
I know.
So just
you and half the.
let's just say that Mario decided one day he had enough. He was done with Jared, and he was not taking any more of his crap, and he went out and he did do that. Would Shanna distance herself from him?
100%.
Or would he protect him? Would she protect him?
She wouldn't. She would protect the kids. Always.
Yeah.
The kids are her priority.
Yeah.
No man.
And I can tell you, as many times as I've talked to her, I 100% believe that those children are her priority.
100%.
100% believe that.
Nothing is more important to her than them and their well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And so if she thought he had anything to do with this, she'd have kicked him to the curb. He'd been gone.
Yeah.
That day. Like the second she found out. There'd have been no plan. There'd have been he'd have been gone.
Yeah.
There'd have been no question.
Like I said, I'm just...
Yeah, I know.
Conjecture. Just talking.
So that's all everyone's doing. That's all it is online. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't read. We try. I can't speak for him. I'm sure he is, but I haven't read the first comment. I don't read any of that stuff.
It will either make you laugh or piss you off. It does one of two things. A lot of the comments are her.
You know Kirsten?
She's got fake accounts.
Yeah.
100%. And he was famous for that. He had hundreds of fake accounts.
Yeah.
And she's in Microsoft. She does, you know what I mean? But I mean, I know for a fact. There are too many things, like some of these comments get like real intimate, and you're talking about things that were 7-10 years ago. Only you know that. If you're the wife. Yeah. You're the only one who knows that. Because it was his spin on the story. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel confident if just it's much different if, you know what I mean, you look that IP address and hit the same computer. I feel confident.
Well, we get lots of interesting things as well, lots of interesting tips. Mm-hmm. Everything from psychics to crazy people.
Psychics, huh?
We've had a couple of psychics reach out to us. And we've heard lots of crazy, interesting theories. Mm-hmm. So
I try not to give theories. I'm just trying to tell you the things that I know and that I remember.
All. This is more about background, just because you do. It's hard to find people. We found people that know Jared now, and we found people that know Shanna now and Mario now. It's hard to find someone who still knows them today, who knew them
20
before.
years. Yeah.
So that's why we were.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned that you knew Jared even before Shanna. I was like, I'd be curious to see what he was like, because like you alluded to, once someone dies, all you ever hear is how great they were.
Yeah,
and what an amazing person.
What kind of a douche do you like? Like if you get on there and you're like, oh, you mean that kid that broke everyone's heart? And exactly. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get on there and say that.
Yeah.
So.
But that's all I have.
Yeah. So it seems like Shanna confides in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
How often has she kind of confided in you during this time since Jared was killed? Like how often do you talk? And
we don't talk any more than we did before. I mean, she and I usually, like I said, we usually talk 5-6 times a week, sometimes every day. Mm-hmm. Just depends on what's going on with the kids. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She's been there's actually probably been maybe a couple days in a row that we didn't talk. If sometimes the kids will have a meltdown or, you know what I mean? She's been very present for them. And so she will drop me, you know what I mean? It'll just be, it's been a bad day, you know what I mean? Or that or the other. And then she might catch me up the day later. You know what I mean? Okay. So I wouldn't say that the time that we spend talking or whatever has really changed at all. It's been pretty much the same.
Did she tell you, did she talk to you at all when she came in and talked to us the first time or the second time?
She did tell me that she came in and that she talked to you guys. She said she was giving background information. She told me that she said Mario would come in too. Mm-hmm. She told me she came in and gave DNA.
Yes.
I mean, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, like the first time when she came in and talked to us, she told you all about that experience and the conversation and all that, or no?
Not really. She just said that they were just like, you know, like generalized kind of questions, and you know what I mean. Like she wasn't very specific on questions, but Shanna, she doesn't have like. I'm the memory bank, which is funny because my husband says I forget stuff. But like you know what I mean? Like she'll like for things like litigation wise, like with the divorce, it was like, you know, he's saying this, and I'm like, oh no, remember, you know, there was that email from his attorney that said this, and you know, I was like, go look, you know what I mean? And so, but she forgets things, you know what I mean? Like. Yeah. You know, she kind of is in the moment, and then she forgets the details.
I got you. Did she tell you before she was coming in here and talk to us?
No.
Did she call you? So she didn't call you and talk to you before she came in and talked to us?
I don't think so. But I don't remember.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't remember. Here, I'm telling you, I'm the memory bank, and I don't remember. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even remember what day it was or anything.
It was the 28th was the day before, and March 1st was the day she came in and talked to us.
She may have told me that she was coming.
Mm-hmm.
She may have told me that she was coming. In fact, I think she did tell me that she was coming and that they were coming in together.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't know if you guys were gonna talk to them together or separate them.
Mm-hmm. So nothing memorable.
Nothing memorable.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, my brain works weird, but after she came in and talked to us, you did say that she called you and talked to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did y'all talk about that?
About her conversation in here?
Yeah.
The once, maybe another time.
Okay.
Anything else? Have you met Sterling and Shelley?
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion of those guys?
They're awesome. I love them.
Yeah.
I've known them for several years. Shelley is very. She loves me because I take care of Shanna. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like her family here when they can't be here.
Yeah.
And Shanna can't move because of the heart thing. He's got to stay at sea level. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, she knows that Shanna's always got somebody if she needs somebody.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it was funny because we were crossing paths, like when all this happened, when Jared got murdered, you know, they were booking flights to come here and I'm on flight to go out there. She offered us to stay in her house. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and then we were like, oh no, we got to stay with, you know, my husband's dad because he was alone and stuff. So, but yeah, you will not meet a more genuine, generous. They make a lot of money, but they believe money is to do good things with.
Gotcha.
And they, you know what I mean? Like they help so many people and do so many things. Mm-hmm. Like they're very down to earth. Mm-hmm. You know, even for as wealthy as they are, they're very humble.
That's good to hear.
They're not you know what I mean? You're not, Kris Kardashian ain't walking in here. Do you know what I mean? Like they're very simple. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, they have all the nicest things, but they're very humble.
Gotcha.
They're very humble and they're very giving and, you know, they're good people. They're good people.
All right. Well, that's all I have. I really, really, really appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Okay. I don't know if I helped you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like all of my information is so old.
You know, I tell people, because people say that a lot, we don't know either. We don't know what helps us and what doesn't. You know, sometimes it's the little things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so we deal a lot in what we call victimology. So you building a profile of what your victim is like, what their personality is like, the things that they do. I've never heard about the Freemason thing, so that's new.
He was very involved in that with his dad, because I know he used to go to the meetings when he was married to Shanna, because oftentimes I would go over because I knew he wouldn't be there because he'd be with, you know what I mean? That was a big pride factor for his dad.
Was a Freemason.
He was the only son that would participate in that with him. But Jared was very proud of it. He wore the ring, and that ring means something if it's facing me, I need help. If it's facing you, I'm available to help you. Like there's a lot of, you know, in fact that ring that he wore, he told me, this is going to be yours one day.
Interesting.
Yeah, like he was very proud of that ring. So that I guess that's how they speak to each other without saying words, which was good for him because he wasn't very social. Just look at my ring.
Well, hey, thank you. I'll give you my card on our way out, and if you have any questions or anything, give me a call. Let me know.
Sure.
Or if you hear anything crazy.
All right. It's nice to meet you.
As the interrogation continues, police obtain surveillance video showing a blue Ford F-150 truck driving suspiciously before and after the time of the murder. They also learn that the tyre placed in the road to block Jared's path appears to have come from the same type of truck. A breakthrough comes when police arrest the owner of a blue Ford F-150 for an unrelated driving offence. His name is Henry Tennant, and he is a tenant of Shanna's current husband, Mario. Detectives bring Henry down to the station for a formal police interrogation. After questioning him about his long history of traffic violations, detectives change the subject to Jared's murder.
All right, Henry, so here's what's up. Today's the most important day of your life, all right? I'm going to shoot you straight. You got tough decisions to make, but there's really only one right answer. So we've told you a lot, but we haven't told you everything. And you've been pretty honest with us, and I appreciate that. But there's a lot more to this than what we've told you, what we let on. So there's other people down here that we're interviewing at the same time about a case. It's way bigger than some traffic charges.
Yeah, I don't figure that much out already.
Okay,
I just don't know what.
Okay, well, you're going to know in a second. And these people, so this is a choice you get to make. You're at what they call a crossroads in your life, okay? There's two paths you can take. One goes this way, one goes this way. One can lead to Henry still being Henry out, living a life potentially one day, because we know what Henry's all about. And he's not somebody that's going around doing violent things, doing vicious things to people. But somehow Henry got caught up in something. You got put in the middle of something, and then now it's spiraling out of control because these other people involved, because this is your vehicle involved that you're in, are going to point the finger at you. And they've already started to do that because no one wants to go to prison for the rest of their life. Nobody. Henry, listen to me. Listen, just listen. I know this is a lot to take in. Okay. But I need you to tell us everything you can about what happened that night, and I need you to be honest. You need to tell us right now. We know the answers, like I told you, and I'm not lying to you. We know the answers to these questions we ask you. We've been looking at you for months. We know your driving pattern. I knew you picked up people and went to the methadone clinic every day. You leave your house 4:45, 5 o'clock every day. Hell, yesterday you left at what, 5?
Yeah.
It was like
That's
right
why,
early.
that's why this morning I couldn't believe that I was speeding and once I knew was doing it.
Right.
So you screwed up our timeline this morning because we've been tracking you for a long time, and you left a little early yesterday, so we had to bump it up.
Yeah, because they've been cutting into my time to get to work on time. I'm taking them to the methadone clinic, and it take them a whole hour and a half before they can get in there and get treated under this new system that they started using. And usually we get there at 5:30 and be out of there by 6 or 5:45.
What?
Sometimes, most of the time, I try to be to work at 6:30 or 6:45.
How do I want to go out of this world? A man of character, a man who did what's right, or just some chump? Because that's what we're being played for right now, is chumps. We ain't no chumps, Henry. I know you ain't no chump. When I said respect, I meant it. I give you the same respect you give me. You've been respectful to me. I haven't raised my voice at you, and you raised your voice at me. We've disagreed. We know we're not on the same page, but we both know we can get there.
Some of Henry's answers have been redacted by police until the accused have all been tried, but investigators believe Henry was paid $10,000 to murder Jared in a carefully planned roadside ambush. This theory is supported when financial records show that Henry received 3 checks totaling $10,000 shortly after the murder. In January 2023, Henry Tennant is arrested in connection with Jared's murder. The question investigators now face is, who paid Henry to kill Jared? Was it Shanna or her current husband Mario? To find out, detectives turn back to Shanna's best friend, Kim.
I know we spoke to you a couple months back about Jared and Shanna, and you were one of the few people that we've been able to talk to that kind of really knew both of them. So we just kind of wanted to follow up with some things that we've kind of been looking at since then. Nothing too crazy. Just before we get into all that, how have things been? How have things been since the interview?
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, should they have been different than
I'm just curious. I know, this is kind of a shake-up, and, I'm sure the church has been,
Yeah. There's a division.
Is there?
Well, it's just kind of the same. Like, if you were... I'm sure Shanna friends are going to tell you what they saw in Jared, and I'm sure Jared and Kirsten's friends are going to tell you, that Shanna was horrible. And I don't think anyone who was originally, Team Shanna or Team Jared has jumped ship through all of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's not like, honestly, in where I, down here on Penman where I go, like, it's not like it's spoken about. You know what I mean? Whereas where they go, like, I have friends out where they are in the South. And, it's like in the foyers, like, you know what I mean? Oh, this, that, and the other. But, none of those people knew anyone but Jared and Kirsten.
Yeah. What are you hearing? Like, what are they saying? What kind of things are they saying?
Oh, they're just, who do you think did it? Do you think it was Shanna? You know what I mean? It was just the little...
Yeah. Well, unfortunately...
But, social media has, like, gone viral with all of this, and I don't know.
It's definitely got a lot of attention.
It's gotten a lot of attention, and it's hard because it's one-sided attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems... I understand Shanna's position in why she has chosen to stay quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And why, she doesn't want people who knew him to say anything because she's all about protecting her kids.
She doesn't want them to talk ill of him?
No. The kids are trying to get over losing their father.
Mm-hmm.
If they need to hold on to some memory that makes him a good dad to help them heal, she does not want that washed.
How are they doing, do you know?
The kids?
Yeah.
They have their moments. Mm-hmm. They're in therapy. She's doing all the right things with them. She seems to be doing much better than I would have expected. Had a hard time.
Yeah. I know when I met her, it seemed like she very put together.
Processes things differently. Mm-hmm. And she's able to compartmentalize things, whereas ADD, and he's a little more all over the place, and so his mind, you know what I mean, is all over the place.
Yeah, I noticed that when we talked to him. It was trying to keep him in a straight line
it's hard.
It was pretty difficult.
Yeah. But that's been him since he was little, you know what I mean. So, but overall, they're doing well. Like big things like with the arrest or whatever, so on Monday, you know what I mean, Fox News is chasing them all around the dentist, and then the kids, it's like, oh,
this Monday?
This past Monday, whenever the press conference was on Wednesday.
Okay.
So on Monday, Rebecca Rosenberg was in her face when she came out of a dentist's office with the kids, you know what I mean, and then that reignites the fear with the kids, but she's been really good about just trying to keep things normal for them. But that really, those are the things. That's why they moved.
Yeah.
They were being followed. They were constant. You know what I mean? There was no peace. She's trying to get them over losing their dad. And, when you constantly have people following you, they're old enough to know.
Yeah.
They're scared.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a tough position for the kids to be in.
Yeah, it is.
I hope everything works out for them.
I do too.
That was one of my biggest concerns, even in London. It was pretty tough, especially the night I met her that night on the scene. It was, I had just had a newborn, man. And I was just like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
But.
Well, if there is an advantage between the two, Kirsten can protect the little ones from the media, whereas Shanna's are old enough that they go to school and kids talk and my mom said this and you know what I mean? Like whereas when you've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, you can shield them from all the things. It makes it a little more advantageous in their emotional health.
Yeah. Have they been having trouble in school, the twins?
No, but I mean, nobody really knew anything in Washington until this past week.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean, but it quieted down a lot faster there than it ever would here.
Well, I mean, they're pretty, they're pretty separated.
Yeah.
It's about as far as you can get, probably.
Well, but I mean, she has to be on one coast or the other.
Yeah.
Because of his health condition, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so I think for her parents, it was the best option to get her closer to family that could be there quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there
How far is that from Utah?
I think it's like to drive. I think it's like maybe 9 hours.
So, I mean, it's not
9 or 12 hours, but I mean, I think it's only like an hour plane. It's like us going to New York, or,
quick.
you know what I mean? Like it's quick to get on a plane. I think it's an hour and a half plane ride or whatever.
Well, that's good. That's good then. I mean, having family close, I know it's kind of tough being, kind of separated from your family.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that we were looking at was, I know it was reported in the media, and we've talked to the family about it a little bit, and I don't know if you saw it or anything, but it was, Jared had some premonitions about, I guess, danger or whatever. Did you hear anything about that prior to?
Yeah, that came from his mom.
It came from his mom?
His mom said, she didn't say he had premonition about danger.
Mm-hmm.
She said he had a premonition that he wasn't going to live much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't say that that was it. And that with that he paid off the house, the cars, like got everything in order, and she became the stay-at-home mom.
Kirsten?
Mm-hmm. Because originally, like I think she ended her job in December.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I mean, they both work from home. But, I mean, he only barely started working at Microsoft, like, I want to say in, like, August, maybe, of last year. Like, he'd only been there, like, less than 6 months.
Yeah.
So, and then, but, I mean, that was what she said, that he just, she called it a spiritual prompting, is what she called it.
Did she go into any detail about it or anything?
No, because she wasn't, I mean, I just kind of heard that, you know what I mean? She didn't, I mean, I know now it's being used in the media that, he feared for his life, but I don't know that I'd buy that. That just sounds like a convenient way to continue to,
keep pushing the gas.
Keep pushing the gas against Shanna.
Well, the media is their own monster.
Oh, they are. I mean, you see it just in, you know what I mean? Like if they want to railroad somebody, they know how to do it.
Yeah. So you haven't heard anything other than just whispers around circles with what the mom said. Is the mom still in Germany? Is his mom still in Germany? They go here, right, to this church?
Well, they're like vagabonds. Like they owned a home for years and years and years. And that's where I've been to baby showers there. You know what I mean? Like that's where the family lived when eventually, I don't even know if they started there when they moved to Florida because they came from like the Midwest or maybe somewhere out there. I don't know. Originally, before they came to Florida. And I'm talking about like when Jared was like 12.
Okay, so they were...
They were somewhere else.
Okay.
And then when their family relocated here, the kids were, Jared was the youngest. And he was like 12, 13, I want to say, when they moved to Florida. Or at least when they moved and became part of...
You said Jared was the youngest?
Jared.
I thought Adam was the youngest. Jared was... Okay,
Jared is the
okay,
youngest.
I'm sorry.
But so for example, I don't know what their ages and kids, like, where they fall, like, in line, but, like, I never knew they had a daughter. Like, she didn't make she must have been the oldest or one of the old, I think maybe Justin is old. I don't know. I didn't know. I just knew him.
Yeah.
But anyway, but once Shanna and Jared got divorced, Jared got, like, $500,000 from the divorce. He got his half of the house they bought in Ponte Vedra. He then bought his parents' house. And then the parents went and were like house sitters, I guess you would say, for another couple who went on a 3-year mission to Africa. So they lived in their apartment. It was a doctor and his wife. They're on another mission in Africa for 3 more years. But anyway, they lived in their house, in their apartment. It was like in the marina, the Pablo Marina, those really nice apartments. They lived there, and then she got, after they came back, I really don't know where they went. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they were still around, but I don't know where they went. And then she started picking up the contracts with the military.
The government, yeah.
And she ended up in Germany.
Okay. And then they've been there ever since.
Yeah, like they were back here a few months ago. He's got throat cancer or something.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then we thought they were done. Like once, you know what I mean? Like people just assumed that she would quit or whatever. But I mean, I think they just need money. I don't know. I don't know.
Is he still, I know, when I spoke to Mr. Bishop.
Scott Curry.
I'm sorry. Yes, Bishop Curry. He said that Jared's dad was governor. Is that how it works, of the area or something?
Oh no, he so you have, so like here you have individual. They're called wards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have wards, and so I think there's 9 wards that form a stake.
Okay.
He was the leadership of the stake.
Stake.
He was so where Scott is the bishop, where he's the top at the ward. There's a stake president, and then he has 2 counselors.
Okay.
And his father was one of those.
Is he still doing that, or is he out of that position?
Well, he lives in Germany, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's why I was curious, because I think when I spoke with Bishop Curry, he had said he was still in that position, but I was like, it kind of struck me odd, because I'm like, well, he's in Germany, that's got to be hard.
Yeah, no, he was released. He was released, I'm pretty. Now, when that all happened, you know what I mean? Because he didn't initially go to Germany. He stayed here.
Okay.
He stayed here, and then they brought her mom, like his mother-in-law, and I think now she's in some kind of like facility in Orlando. But like he was here, and he would just go visit Joanne in Germany because he did stay here and fulfill. You know what I mean? He had this thing in his head that he didn't want to be released from his calling. He wanted to go 5 years.
Oh, as the governor.
As part of titles were very important to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they very important to most people in the church? I have never really been involved in that kind of shit.
Some people care. Some people want to aspire to become, leadership. Some people just come and they're just happy to serve in whatever capacity they're asked, and they don't have any goals to become something more. It's like if it happens, great, and if not, you know what I mean? Yeah. But titles were very important. Titles were very important to Jared.
So you think he was more like his father than his mother? Or?
Oh, 100%. His mother would tell you they're exactly the same.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. He's very controlling. Like I know when they got divorced, Joanne would always come to me and ask me, how's Shanna? How's Shanna? How's Shanna? And I'm like, you can just text her.
Yeah.
She will respond to you. And she's like, I'm not allowed.
Because Jared wouldn't let her?
It's not allowed.
Yeah, I mean...
She's like, he's, and I'm like, what do you mean you're not allowed? You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, well, you know how Jared is. He's very controlling, and, and she's like, he's just like his father. That's what she said. Those were her words, not mine. I mean, I thought that, but I mean, it's interesting to hear her, that she recognizes that.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. You're going to be
like one or the other. Yeah. And she's like the scatterbrained, you know what I mean? Like, she's the family joke, and it's sad. Like, they make fun of her to her face that she's, oh, yeah.
What do they say?
Well, cause like so she's like a walking blunder. Like one time, Jared wanted to have a family FaceTime call, and they were gonna announce, I want to say Kirsten's pregnancy, and Joanne accidentally went Facebook Live.
And so it went on
And
Facebook Live.
and everyone, it pops up, oh, your contact, and everyone's just like watching this, and then when they realized what she had done, they're like, Mom, you know what I mean? Like she's just like the joke. She's got a lot of technological issues,
That would be quite awkward.
Yeah. But I mean, she's got lots of them. Like, I mean, it cost her a job one time.
Really?
Like, yeah, she used to be a counselor for the church.
Mm-hmm.
And when Shanna and Jared were married, and there's HIPAA.
Yeah.
And she was doing a Zoom session with a child, an adolescent, who had come out to her.
Yeah.
And she thought she had ended the session.
Oh no.
And Gaylord made some comment like, "Are you done with that faggot so you can come to bed?"
Man.
And the kid wanted to sue the church, and she was never allowed to be. You know what I mean? Like, it was big. Like, there was litigation, and Shanna paid for it all. Like, it was bad. So I mean, she just makes big mistakes.
Yeah, that's
especially technological mistakes, and she gets harassed horribly for it.
Well, I know, like, my parents aren't great with technology. They just stay away from it.
She should. Just pick up the good old phone.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best way. Well, even now, man, it's like, these phones are getting so crazy. It's like, I know we spoke earlier about, back before cell phones were really a thing, but I'll tell you what, man, I almost wish we could go back to that, because being connected all the time is not, for me, it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with all that being said, so I know, Jared and Shanna, and obviously we spoke about the arrest that happened last week. Just out of curiosity, have you ever known Jared to have any kind of association with Henry Tinnen, who was arrested?
I never saw him till.
That was the first time you ever saw him?
Never saw him. Never didn't know nothing about him. He didn't even look like he knew him. Mm-hmm. Like, he looked very confused to me.
Yeah.
Like the next day or whatever, he just looked like he didn't look like he was on the same planet. He just looked very confused to me.
Yeah. Did Shanna or Mario ever talk about him? I know he was a tenant for Mario's for quite a while.
No. I mean, Mario didn't talk about much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even, he was very, through their whole marriage, like, his friends were his friends, and he didn't join the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't. Because she would always talk about, if you're going out with your friends or this, you know what I mean? I'll go. And he was like, no, those are my friends. You know what I mean? Like, he kept things very separate.
How did she feel about that?
At first, I think it hurt her feelings that she didn't want him. It was mostly his military friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really know how much dealings he had with, like, tenants. You know what I mean? Like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I know that I would hear once a month, he went and collected the rent. You know what I mean? Like, he's at the downtown house getting the rent, or he's at the, White
So
Yard.
Mario would physically go to the houses and collect the rent?
I think so. At least sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a regular thing, but, like, I know I'd gone over one time, and where is he? And she's like, he went to get the rent or something,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just something I recall in passing,
Yeah.
But, it was his military friend. She wanted to know the people that knew him, like, before she knew him.
Yeah, I mean, that's natural.
And, and she got to meet some of them, but not, it wasn't what you would have thought. You know what I mean? Like, when I got married, my husband has friends, you know what I mean? Like, I know who they are. We hang out, we have dinner, we whatever. And he just, his military friends would breeze into town from time to time or whatever, and sometimes he'd let her come, and sometimes he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just out of curiosity, I'm assuming you're still in contact with Shanna.
Yeah.
Has she talked about this guy at all?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. My conversation with Shanna are harder because A, the time difference. B, she's getting, she's working as much, when the kids are in school, and then it's not like when she had her own thing and she could talk on the phone while she was doing her own cookies. Now, you know what I mean? She's actually somewhere else. And so, it might be 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there, on the way from dropping the kids to school. You know what I mean? And then once school's out, then she's got the kids. And so,
Yeah.
So no, not a.
So you haven't really been talking to her that much?
Our conversations are very limited in comparison to how much we were able to talk. Because, I mean, she's at the bakery around the corner. I mean, I could just go over and, you know what I mean? We could sit and chat in the bakery while she was rolling out dough and doing all the things. It's just so different. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's tough losing a friend. I mean, that's...
Oh, it is. It is. And more of our conversations are about the kids than anything since she's been out there because, they've had to adjust and, you know what I mean? And so, but I mean, they've picked up, gymnastics out there. And so, you know what I mean? So, she'll send me little videos or just her, little.
How's she doing with the gym? I know she was, I know when I talked to her before way back in the beginning of this, I guess she was still on like a practice team.
Now she's on, I think maybe a middle tier team.
Yeah.
It's not the highest, but it's not the.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, she's really, she wants to be a gymnast. Like, she's working really hard at it.
She seemed like it really interested her.
Well, she's one of those, she's a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So, if she can't do, front handspring, she's doing it on the trampoline over and over and over and over again until she gets it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's that kid.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
You need that if you're gonna
pursue any kind of sport.
If you're gonna excel.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
I got a few more questions. I don't want to get off topic too bad, but what is do you have any theories on why Mario's tenant would be involved in this with Jared at all? Seems weird.
I mean, all I know is what I saw on the press conference, which was not that informative. I really didn't know how involved. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what the connection. I don't even know what the connection is.
Hello.
This is my partner, Mick. I don't think you've met him before.
I don't know. I'm
sorry I'm late.
No worries. I was early.
Real quick then, just the traffic, mixed with the rain and my ball tires. That's just not a good combination at all. Yeah. So, again.
Change those. You get a ticket for that, can't you?
I think so. I'm more likely to go off the road. That's what I'm more concerned about, So, I apologize for being late.
No worries.
I was just talking to her about some theories as to why Mario's tenant would be involved with Jared.
Okay.
And what was it that you said?
I said, all I know about this guy is that what I saw in the press conference, so I don't really have any theories. The only thing I can tell you is that people made the comment, once Shanna's sister said once, Jared was always involved in something shady because he always wanted that get rich quick. He always wanted, it was money. Everything with Jared is, from what I know, everything was always about money. You're getting divorced. You got a prenup. It's not a secret what you're going to get, but he wouldn't leave the house, stayed there through the whole divorce until he got his check. And then he moved out 24 hours later. Like, everything was about money with him. Everything. Oh, you want school designation? Oh, well, then tell the courts I don't have to pay child support. Like, everything was money with him. And he had the mindset that I shouldn't have to pay you anything because your family is wealthy. Shanna was not wealthy. That's what frustrates me with the media is that the story, like her trust was drained when they bought that house in Ponte Vedra. There was no more trust. It was gone. But people don't know that. They think that she's just got like this endless supply coming in, and it wasn't true.
I got you. So I guess with all that being said, I mean, by all rights, this guy had no money, so
Oh, yeah.
why would Jared? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of weird to me. Actually, really, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to, connect all the dots, and, there's really no reason for Tenon to have any kind of dealings with Jared. And so that's what's kind of throwing everybody off a little bit, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, my assumption was that you guys probably had a list of everyone that had the truck that may or may not be involved. I never ever heard if it was confirmed, or all I've seen is Kirsten stuff. Find the truck, find the truck, find the truck. I just assumed when he got popped for whatever he got popped for, what was it, speeding and pot or something?
Mm-hmm.
When he got arrested in August or whatever, that he was on the list, and then you find out he's Mario's tenant, and I figured those were how dots were connected. I really don't have any theories about Jared and this black guy. Like, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody been talking about it or anything? Has there been any kind of rumor mill or anything like that involving it?
The only rumor mill that I've heard is this guy doesn't even look like he knows what the heck's going on.
Mm-hmm. Who all saying that? Just out of curiosity. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But
Oh, just like, girls at church. They're like, just...
So they're skeptical that he has anything.
They're skeptical that he has anything to do with it.
Well,
I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. I'm sure you know more than I do. But I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, he looks very confused about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess if they're skeptical, why, and what alternative theory would they have? Just if we're just gonna rabbit holes, like
the guy's never done anything violent from what. You know what I mean? I mean,
right.
his rap sheet, I guess, whatever's been published, I mean, it doesn't look like he's ever done anything violent.
Mm-hmm.
From my logical mind, if you're going to pick someone to help you do something, that wouldn't be my first choice. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't have this air of confidence like, I'll be your partner in crime, whoever his crime was with.
That's an interesting choice of words if you're going to pick somebody. Do you think that somebody picked somebody, or do you think this is...
Oh, no, I'm just
else?
like,
Yeah.
Just if I'm analyzing this, you know what I mean? Like, if this actually was, a hit on him, I don't know. I just think...
You'd pick somebody better than...
There would just be... a little more thought would have gone into it. Not that I think like that, because I've never put a hit out on anybody.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm the girl that made curfew. Every time.
Well, has Shanna mentioned Henry and his connection at all?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Oh. Is she just as confused about the whole thing, or?
Yeah. Well, like I said, on the Monday before... They're, and they're like, oh, you want to comment on breaking the case? And she's like, she didn't even know what they were talking about. She had no freaking idea what they were talking about.
So when she found out, was she as equally as confused, or?
Yeah, she's like, she has no idea what's happening.
Okay. Do you know if she ever met him? I know, and the only reason I asked that is because I guess he was living in Mario's property for a while. Do you know if she ever had any?
I do not believe so, because I know that I don't know who, but I know that at least one of his tenants are smokers, and she's allergic to smoke.
I gotcha.
And so she
wouldn't even go over there.
Mm-mm.
But is it possible he could have dropped a rent check off or something?
At their house.
Yeah.
At 1511.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. You haven't talked to Mario at all, have you?
No, I haven't even seen Mario since April or May.
When's the last time? Or April, May?
April, May. I think it was. I can't remember if I actually saw him in May. I think in April I may have seen him. The only other contact I've had with Mario is, I want to say, maybe around the fall sometime. He texted. No, he didn't text. He sent me a message. I don't remember if it was text or if it was Instagram or something, but he sent me a message asking, we have a landscaping company.
Okay.
And he gave me the address of a property and wanted to know if we could, go by and take care of it, but it wasn't in our area. It was somewhere in Arlington. And my husband was like, we don't go there, tell him no.
Did he have another house or something?
Does he? He has
In
two houses.
Arlington? Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He has the one near Sandalwood on White Horse. Because and I only know that because he called it the downtown house and the White Horse house. So those were the two. And then I know the White Horse house. The White Horse house.
Say it 3 times fast, yeah.
Yeah, right. I can't do it. I think that was formerly his parents' house before they moved to Peru. I think.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, which I could be.
Okay. So what was the property in Arlington? Was that?
I don't know. I didn't. I mean, I might have it if you want it. I don't know. Let me see. I can look and see. I can't remember if it was text or Instagram because a lot of times he would just send me a message on that. We weren't texters. Only time I had texting chains with Mario was if he was coming to pick up the kids or I was going, you know what I mean? It was always about the kids.
Gotcha.
No, it wasn't that because that was one. So it must have been on Instagram. Long ago it was, I can't even get there.
When you say landscape, do you mean like just like mowing lawns, or do you do like you know, do y'all what's the extent of the landscape business?
It's primarily just like maintenance, but I mean they do projects where, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I gotcha.
Like redo someone's yard.
So would y'all go like if say someone needed you to go in and like take out like I know we have a lot of creek myrtles down here, but was that something y'all would do? Is take all that out or trim it back and stuff like that, or
trimming? Yes, removal would depend on the size of it. We might refer you to a tree service.
I gotcha. Okay.
So,
but if it was something,
I can't. I don't think he's on. I don't think he's on Instagram. I don't have any. I can't.
Oh, it was through Instagram.
Because that was his typical way to message me was Instagram. But so I don't have the thing because I don't think he's on there anymore.
Oh, did he get rid of his Instagram account?
Well, I can't find him, so I'm gonna go with yes. Not because he told me, but because he's not there.
Well, you haven't been keeping up with him, I guess, then, huh?
I don't care about him.
Why's that?
I mean, I didn't know.
I just noticed, like, there was a tone. Like, I didn't care about him. Like, I picked up on it, so just indulge me.
When he was good to Shanna, he was really, really good to Shanna, and you know, and then there are other times, you know, he'd make her cry, and I just,
really,
you know.
What did he do to make her cry?
He just gets in moods, you know, and he had a couple bouts of infidelity, and so, you know.
Who are we talking about,
Mario.
Okay.
So, you know, and then.
How did she react to that?
She takes it personal, like,
you
know, what am I doing wrong that, you know what I mean, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I was her best friend, her sounding board, you know what I mean, like, so, you know, but I'm not the one that says, oh, you need to leave your husband, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what your threshold is, what you can take might be more than what I can take, and you know what I mean, like, I've got lots of friends that have gone through divorce, and I always say, you'll know what you need to do.
Yeah. Is that what pushed the infidelity? What pushed them to divorce or split up? I know they told us, I think in April, that they were getting a divorce.
Yeah, but that was just that they were getting divorced even before Jared was killed.
How far before? Do you know?
It was on and off of should we give this? You know, they would put like, okay, 6 more months, and we'll see how it goes, or you know what I mean, like. I mean, and she was going to therapy and she's doing all the work, and he never wanted to be married.
So why'd they get married?
Because of the church, and because she was afraid that if she lived with him, that Jared would find some way in the court to consider her an unfit mother. You know, she's just shacked up with, you know what I mean, this guy, and she always had this fear that he would, anything she didn't do that fell in line with the church, that he would find a way to spin it against her. And
if she was separated from the church, what did she care what the church thought?
She didn't care what the church thought. She cared what because he took, because she's left the church, like automatically that gave him carte blanche to diss her
within the church community.
And he did. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you were either Team Sharon or Team Jared. You were one or the other.
Mm-hmm. So you think that Mario and her ultimately got married because it made things easier for her? I mean, you said they never wanted to be married, so I guess I'm just trying to figure out.
No, she did.
Yes, but he didn't.
She wanted to create something stable for those kids. Mm-hmm. And he was, for all intents and purposes, if there's one good thing that can never, he tried to be everything for those kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He was on the floor playing Legos. Like, he was the hands-on in the beginning. He was the hands-on, and then as they got older, he wasn't as, but he did, like, he took them, they would build things, they would put things together, like, he's very tinker. He loves to build. If you let him use a tool, you know what I mean, you're the hero, because he loves tools. I mean, he's like all boy.
Yeah.
And he would go out there and do those kinds of things, in the garage, and teach him this and teach him that, and that was a big deal.
So ultimately, what is your impression? What do you think is the reason why Mario ultimately married Shanna? Because it was quick, right? Like 3 months. Oh
God, yeah. It was like, oh yeah.
That seemed like a pretty quick decision for someone who didn't want to get married.
Well, I don't think he wanted to marry anybody. You know what I mean? Like, commitment, I think, is a hard thing for him.
Yeah.
But then, so why go through with it on his part?
Why do it?
Yeah, like what's?
I mean,
you got 2 bouts of infidelity, so it wasn't like he was, wanting to be with just one person. I mean, everyone has their own arrangements. I understand that. And like you said, your own thresholds for divorce and what you can deal with. But like, what's the reward for him? Why? It takes 2,
Right. She really wanted it. And I do think that he deeply cared for the children. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Whether or not, I don't know. I don't know, because it's hard to understand Mario. You know what I mean? Mario beats to his own drum. Like, everything's shock value with him. You know what I mean? Like, on Easter, he would post some of the stupidest crap. You know what I mean? Just to get rise out of people. He's like that guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's the guy that walks around and just says something just to see the reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there were benefits for him. You know what I mean? Like, her family's a good family. You know what I mean? Like, I mean...
So we just call it what it is, like financial benefits, or?
I don't know. I mean, I never asked him why he married her. You know what I mean? Like, anything I would say is just speculation. I mean, I really, although I have told her, she's just an open book. She's pretty transparent. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To her demise.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should never lead. You know what I mean? Like, never lead with who you come from. You know what I mean? Like, how about I've got 4 sisters and great parents? You know what I mean? Like, don't tell them what your parents do. You know what I mean? Like, because when you do that, you never know, and I don't mean any disrespect, but you never know if the man is there for you or what your family has to offer. You know what I mean? Like,
again, the financial side, the money, right?
I mean, could be. You know what I mean? Although he never acted like he cared.
Okay.
About money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whereas I can tell you that Jared was everything, like, that was his sole goal. Money, can't have enough. He wasn't like that. I mean, this guy was like, T-shirts, basketball shirts, you know what I mean? Shorts, you know what I mean? The dog, you know what I mean? Like, his life was the dog and the military. His whole, to me, it was always as if he still wanted to be in the military, but he wasn't. So those were the things. The military and that dog were his passions, if I had to pick 2 passions.
Gotcha.
So you think those were before Shanna and the kids?
And after.
Really?
I mean, he did spend a lot of time with kids. I mean, I can't dismiss that. But, I mean, I told you the first time, I don't know, it was you or John's, one of them asked me if I blessed the marriage or I was happy, or supportive, or I don't know what the word you were, maybe supportive. I'm not supportive of anybody who wants to get married in 2 months. You know what I mean? Like, you
quick.
don't know them.
Right.
There's much to know. You know what I mean? I mean, and I tried to be, and she was like, we're just going to do it. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, she's like, and we'll just date. She goes, we're just going to do this backwards, and I'll date him after I marry him. And I was like, that is so jacked up. Like, that's where the phrase ass backwards comes from.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, when you're the friend that's supposed to be the voice of reason, you can only be as reasonable as you can be. And, it's kind of like my kids. I can tell you all the good things in the world, and then you have to find out when you do something stupid that, maybe Mom knew something.
I think we've all had that friend where it's like, listen, I'm telling you, this is a bad idea. And like, no, I hate you. And then 6 months later, they're coming to you crying. It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You see the train coming off the tracks.
Well, no, it's like when they very first got divorced. You know what I mean? I'm like, you are giving him a gift on a silver platter. You know what I mean? You got your sleeve, you got your hair chopped off. You know what I mean? It's like everything he was saying about her that wasn't true looked like it was true.
You're talking about from when she got divorced from Jared.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, her thing was, I've left the church. I'm doing whatever the hell I want. I don't care. And that's great. Do whatever you want. But optics.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Everything in moderation, I suppose, and just,
But I mean, she got it out of her system. And like I said, everything was in a good place. You know what I mean? There was none of this. Everything was in a good place with Shanna, and I mean, they were never going to be friends. This was going to be those ones where we are just tumultuous when we have to be around each other, and it was more so on his part.
This is Jared and
her.
I wasn't sure if we were
Mario. Like I said, Mario beats to a different drum. Like, Mario could walk away from somebody and never look back. My brother's the same way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're still all friends with his ex-wife, and I mean, and I asked him one time, does that bother you? And he was like, oh, I don't have to mess with it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you can just.
I get that. I was the same way growing up, man. If it went, it went. I don't ever want to talk to you again. It's nothing personal. That's just
how some people roll, I guess. So.
I'm sorry I interrupted you, but you were saying that Jared and Shanna were kind of like in a not good place, but I guess a copacetic place, or what? Tell me about. Go on with that. I interrupted you, and I was rude. Sorry.
Well, I'm saying they weren't fighting over anything. But I mean, Jared was always throwing the match. You know what I mean? Like, so the big thing at that time, I think it started maybe around November or December. Be baptized.
This last November, December.
Yeah, around there. And so, like, I mean, he fully expected Shanna to say no. And you got to have, you know what I mean? Maybe one's in, one's out. Like, and Shanna was like, if that's what she wants. You know what I mean? Like, Shanna was all about whatever is best for the kids. That's always been probably the one thing that I've admired the most about her since I met her. Because, I mean, they went through hell, or she went through hell when born. You know what I mean? Like, with the whole, like, she just, and like, once she became a mom, it was like, this is my life.
Yeah, switch flipped.
Yeah, like nothing else. Like, I can honestly say, like, she never said a bad word about Jared ever in front of the kids. Ever. Never. She wouldn't do it. Would even say, my dad hates you. And she was like, I'm that's sad. That's sad. You know what I mean? Like, those were her kinds of responses.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like I was hearing it third person, like, I've been there, you know what I mean? And he would say, do you know how much my dad hates my mom? And I'm like, buddy, I'm like, maybe one day, maybe one day he won't feel that way. I mean, those are the kind of, that's just how, and she always believed that it never did the kid any good to know that the other parent hated them.
Yeah. Going back to the baptism, you said that Shanna supported it?
In her heart, she really wished that she would wait till she was older, but she wasn't going to tell her no. And so she said, that's fine. She said, the only thing I ask is that she take the lessons from the missionaries so that I know that she understands the commitment that she's making, because Shanna asked her a bunch of questions. I mean, Shanna grew up in the church. It's not like just because she doesn't go doesn't mean she doesn't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She's coming from a place of education.
She's got a life long.
So when you say missionaries, you mean like the people that are out doing the
Proselyting, trying to,
Okay.
spread the
Who
gospel.
normally teaches it?
Missionaries.
Oh,
That
okay.
is who teaches it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was confused by the way you said that. It sounded like maybe somebody else teaches it, and then.
Well, I mean, typically as parents in the church, I mean, you're teaching this in your home as well.
Mhm.
Not all kids go through missionary lessons.
Okay.
Unless the parents want them to, but if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
your kids know all the answers. And when they go see Scott Curry before they were to get baptized, and he would say, why do you want to be a member of the church? Or, he would ask them to make sure that they had the right answers and not just, well, my mom said I'm 8, I should get baptized. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those kind of things.
I gotcha.
So, but I mean, Shanna had bought her the dress for the baptism, like the whole shebang. And so, I mean, he thought that was going to be a fight. And I think he was taken aback when she didn't fight him on it.
Yeah. Was there any arguments, or I mean, that's probably a bad word, but was there any strife over where she would take the lessons, whether it be here in Jacks Beach or St. Johns County or anything like that?
No. On Shanna's weeks, she set it up with the ones here. And on his weeks, he set it up with the ones there.
So they were
After he found out that Shanna was doing it here, he set it up there.
with Bishop Curry.
I think they were at
Okay.
Scott's house. Yeah, they were at his house. I hope you don't think I'm being disrespectful when I call him Scott, because I knew him before he was the bishop.
Just,
it's hard.
So I'll be honest, from the beginning of this thing, he's been referred to me as Bishop Curry.
Yeah.
So it's in my head.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So I can't break it.
Well, he's my friend first, so that's why I call him Scott.
I always bounce back and forth between, I'll refer to Jason as Jason sometimes, and it's Lamont, and then whoever that third person I'm talking to, it's like, how many people are involved in this?
Right. Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah. But
So
anyway, it just occurred to me that you keep calling him that, and I'm just like,
Yeah. That's how he was introduced to me. That's how he came up. I think the only person that maybe didn't is his wife, Valerie. I think she's the only one that
Called him Scott.
Bishop, which that'd be kind of weird,
that
right?
would be weird.
Right, yeah.
That would be weird. But yeah.
So y'all are pretty good friends with Valerie and Scott.
Well, we've known them a long time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I might see them every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How are they doing with all this? Because I know they were. I think from what Shanna told me, they were fairly good friends. They would go over to their house.
Well, they
and
live
stuff.
really close.
Yeah.
They're only
How are
like
they
half a
doing
mile
with-
apart, maybe.
How are they dealing with all the news of the arrest last week, and are they getting any kind of,
I don't think you know what I mean? Like, from a church perspective, they're not. I don't think they're getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more of a blow. Like, we just wanted it to be some random person that had nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you knew the second that it got put out that it was a tenant, everything goes like this again, and then you have to listen to all the haters and you know what I mean, that have already decided this from day one, and you know what I mean. So it was just more of a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
Not that if he's actually the guy, then great, you know what I mean. But the fact that there's any connection, you know what I mean, like that was just kind of like a gut punch.
Made it tough.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and not that
I
my
can see
opinion of anything changes,
Mm-hmm.
but just I'm sad for her and the kids that
Yeah.
this is going to continue.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, optics are a big thing, and whether or not whatever, when it all shakes out, whatever it is, it's still, I think optics are tough to get away from, and I know, like specifically Valerie and Scott, being the head of that church and friends with Shanna, I was curious if it was causing any kind of that connection, whatever it is, was causing any kind of
No, I think
strife
it would
for
be
them.
different. It would be different if we were out where they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot more, there's a lot more chitter chatter out there.
About where? I'm sorry.
Out where Kirsten and
in that
Jared,
church?
in that
Okay.
building.
I got you.
In that building, there
I
would be a
gotcha.
lot more chatter than here, because this ward here, like 90%, maybe 95%, don't even know who he is.
Don't know who Jared is?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
They would
really?
only know that he's Gaylord's son, but they
Okay.
don't know him. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
only a handful of people who have been here long enough to even know him.
Yeah, I got you.
So, I mean, so that's why it's quiet here,
I gotcha.
because nobody knows him.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean this.
They know the story.
This is a small community.
Small community. So I'm not saying they don't know the story, but I'm saying like, and I'm sure they've heard that he used to be here.
Yeah.
But like they don't know him.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, that's probably for the best, anyways. Kind of insulate people from a lot of the drama that's happened in church.
You can always seek it out. I
Right.
choose not to. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, I'll look at something here or there, but like it just pisses me off, so I stay away from it.
Well, it definitely can't be easy to see your friend associated with all this,
No, not at all. Because I mean, I know her,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you know what I mean. Like, like I said, those two little kids are her number one priority.
Yeah.
And always have been.
Yeah.
She would lose in court. She would not go for something that her attorney wanted her to get if she didn't think that it would be of a benefit to the kids.
Yeah.
Even if it would benefit her, if it wasn't good for the kids or if it was something that the kids didn't want, she would just drop it. She would never pursue anything that she thought wasn't in the best interest of the kids.
I mean, I get that. I can tell you right now, my kids are the most important thing to me in the world.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that.
And like what she's dealt with the kids since the murder, she wouldn't wish that on anybody.
It's tough.
You know what I mean? Like this has not been, oh yay, I've got the kids, sunshine and roses. It's just us three against the world. No.
Yeah.
This has been horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, in situations like this, I feel like it's not good for anybody involved. You know what I mean?
No.
Everybody's getting some angle of grief or negative attention, and unfortunately, it seems like the kids get impacted the most. On both sides. So
they are the collateral damage in most things.
How are they doing? Just as a side note,
they're doing okay. They're doing okay. I told him they have their moments, but they're in counseling and you know what I mean. They're doing. She's doing all the right things for them.
Good.
So,
Cannot be easy.
No, not at
all. Just out here, you said something like the typical, Shanna and Jared. Jared was expecting an argument about the baptism and everything like that, and wouldn't wait for more, get baptized later. What's the typical age for a baptism?
Typical age is 8.
Mm-hmm.
Both parents have to agree. He never even asked. Like,
really?
At 8, the topic, because we were waiting, never came up. And then, but in typical Jared fashion, everything with him is manipulation. And so her little Sunday school teacher, it's called primary, her little primary teacher was like, this is what be telling Shanna, telling me. Do you know you're the only one in class that's not baptized? She was 10.
Really?
And so Shanna assumed that, and this is, like I said, it's just our assumption, put pressure on the kid from the teacher, not the dad, and then we can ignite this thing and then see if, we can get mom to agree or whatever. So, but yeah, for 2 years he said nothing. Which was odd to me.
Well, I was about to say, that sounds strange to me because from some of the ways that you've described him and some other people described him, it seems like he'd have no bones about creating that drama.
Like, we just kept waiting. Like, the kids turned 8 and it was like, she was like, what's coming next? And I'm like, oh, I know what's coming next. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right, but like, and it was like, then it was like they turned 9 and it was like, why hasn't this come next? Like, what is the deal here? Why isn't he pushing this? Why isn't he asking? Why isn't he telling than asking? But yeah, that was a big stumper. Like, why, when they turned 8, that wasn't a thing.
When was she set to be baptized?
There was no set. They were originally talking about doing it in the summer of last year.
Okay.
They were going to do it in the summer of last year, and of course it wasn't going to be local.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to have them do it at Adam's wife, Carly, at her parents' property in Pennsylvania, I think. Because several, I think all of Carly and Adam's kids may have gotten baptized there or something. Like, it had some significance to their family, but...
I thought they lived in Utah.
They do. But her parents live in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So apparently it was going to be there, and something about doing it on her birthday, and Shanna was like, well, if you're going to do it in Pennsylvania, the water's still going to be pretty, it was going to be outside. She was like, it's going to be pretty cold. You know what I mean? You might need to wait till the summer. And then she was like, yeah, well, my dad said that you can't come.
I bet that was,
How would that go over, yeah?
She's like, do you want me there? Well, yeah. And she's like, well, you know, I mean, we can talk to your dad, and, you know, I can stand in the back and then leave straight away. I don't have to stay for the little, you know, luncheon or party or whatever afterwards. But they never got that far. It was just, this was, you know what I mean? Like, he never told her what they were thinking, ever.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the first time we heard about the baptism and all being in Pennsylvania.
Well, and maybe it wasn't going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't shock me that he didn't want it here, because he never wanted Shanna.
Yeah.
You know, they like a little talk in primary, and like he lost his mind because Shanna and Mario showed up to church to hear the talk. Like,
what did he do?
He just, that jaw.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
sense,
well, but I can't explain it to you. He could not be in the same room as Shanna comfortably. When there was teacher conferences, they had to be separate, 2 different times. Doctor's appointments, one was there, the other was on FaceTime. If he was on FaceTime, it was audio only, because he didn't want Shanna to be able to see inside his house or his children.
That's weird.
First time she ever saw his kids was when they went over to the house, like the week he was killed.
Yeah, brought the cookies.
Brought the treats or whatever. Yeah, it was just weird.
Was there, and we may have asked this first time, but since you brought it up, it kind of spurred in my head. Was there, other than him being angry, did you hear of any other issues or anything about that day when she read that primary? And Abby read, was there any other issues between the 2 of them that day?
Oh no, there was no communication.
Okay.
He wasn't able to hide his anger well. And I think he told the kids that he was angry that she was there.
Yeah.
Like that's my space, and you just invaded my space, kind of a thing, you know.
So they didn't know they were going to be there. They just showed up.
I don't remember if she told him or not.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I feel bad sometimes because I'm asking people about things that, I mean, it's been over a year, you know, it's just like,
yeah.
I know that was a really long time ago.
Yeah. I don't know. She may or may not have.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not important. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Is she still on track to get baptized this summer?
She said she wanted to wait.
Okay.
And I know that she goes to, when Grandma and Grandpa are in town, she goes to church with them. The church is just right up the street from where Shanna lives. And Shanna's like, you know, if you want to go, I'll take you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Shanna, like I said, she is 100% supportive of anything good for the kids. And I don't know if they've ever gone without Grandma and Grandpa there. If they have, I don't remember her telling me that. And I feel like she would have.
Yeah.
But with the gymnastics, some of that stuff is like weekends, and so church is out of the equation when you're at a gymnastics meet, or you know what I mean, whatever.
Sports make things hectic.
Yeah. And so, but I do know, like we were on FaceTime once since they moved, and I think she asked me some church question. I can't remember what it was, and I think she said she wanted to wait. We were talking about it, and she said she was going to wait because she wanted to learn some more stuff.
About the church?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a very mature statement.
Well, that's always been Shanna's thing with the baptism is, if you get baptized, that means whether you're at Dad's house or my house, we're going to church. Mm-hmm. Like, you made this commitment, and we're going to do that. And she was like, you know, but you don't like to go to church. And Shanna was like, but I like to do things that are for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, she could always sit with me. You know what I mean? Like, when they would come, they came every week, and you know what I mean? We all sat together. And
who came every week? Shanna and Mario?
Shanna? No, not Mario. No.
You beat me to the question.
No. Mario made it very clear.
I'm pretty sure that one's not.
I think he's an atheist. I'm pretty sure he's an atheist. Yeah. He doesn't, because he told her, he was like, if you keep Kim around, and you keep, he's like, pretty soon she's going to pull you back and just know I'm not going to church. You know what I mean? And she was like, you told her he wouldn't go to church. Well, he said he'd go into things for the kids. You know what I mean? He would go to events, but I'm not going to be a weekly churchgoer.
He told her that you were going to drag her back into church?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird statement, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's because she talks to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was the BFF. You know what I mean? And he was
Right.
like, he didn't think missionaries could knock on the door and get her to go, but he thought if I asked her to go, Shanna had a hard time saying no to me. And I think that was his fear, is that if I needed something, she would drop anything for me.
Was he against it? Or was he just
No.
like, I don't want to be involved in
He's
it?
like, you do whatever you want to do, but just so we're clear,
Yeah.
I'm not going to church.
Yeah.
Unless it was an event for the kids, and then he would be there.
Yeah.
And he was. I mean, if they had a thing, he would go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I would say things like, walls didn't even fall down. You're in here.
Yeah.
So,
How do you take the joke?
oh, he can take them. He can give and take pretty good. when you're like him and shock value is your favorite thing, you can take it.
Condition take.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't want to be repetitive. I don't know what I missed.
Yeah, I gotcha. I don't have too much more. Just maybe one more question. I don't want to take your whole day from you. I know you got things to do. But it is interesting getting a very different perspective on everything, because I feel like you're probably the best source of perspective that we've been able to get. With everything that we've talked about, I know we talked about Mario and Shanna and Mario's tenant Henry and Jared. Do you think that it's possible that Mario had tenant do this? Is it even a possibility?
I don't see what the benefit would be.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario's a very selfish person.
Mm-hmm.
Mario doesn't do much that doesn't benefit him.
I gotcha.
I just don't see where the benefit would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's from everything with Mario has a benefit. So why did he marry Shanna? Was it the financial? He never told me that, but that was a benefit. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I don't. He just seems like that. Like he's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see the benefit, and I've spun out about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've thought it through in my head, and I'm like, what does he gain?
Mm-hmm.
What does he gain by doing this? Because all it has done is blown up Shanna's life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she would much rather be squabbling between emails than what she's dealing with. There's no benefit to this.
Yeah. I agree, and I have run it through my head as well. What have you come up with other than that? Like, I know you said you were running it through your head.
Well, I mean, I just try to think of things. You know what I mean? Like I told you, like I just try to look at all the pieces that are out there, and I don't listen to her noise because she unnerves me. And she this whole thing with her has just been, Shanna did it. You know what I mean? She's been saying that since what, a month after? It's all been, you know what I mean? How the acrimonious and this and that. You only know what he told you. Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway, I can't figure out the Henry guy. That one, like, that was not what I was expecting. Well, I mean, when I saw him, like, yeah, I mean, you kind of look like a criminal, but like, he just didn't look smart enough to pull this off to me. You know what I mean? If this was not some rando, which it appears that it wasn't random to some degree with, the pieces that are out there, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. In my head, I don't know what I expected it to be, but I didn't expect it to be that.
Yeah.
It was just interesting. You said it doesn't appear to be random, and then we have these logical connections that are being made. So just, what is your heart telling you?
I don't know. I mean, in my logical mind, I think if Mario did this, you'd have called one of your military sniper buddies, and it'd have been quick, easy, and nobody would have known the difference. And he thinks militaristically. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, this guy that I saw, like, that's just, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's almost like a really bad optic coincidence, because I just don't see.
What is your heart telling you?
What is my heart telling you?
Yeah.
My heart's telling me that I know that with the news and the media and everything that, you know, it looks like, you know, there's got to be a connection because Mario's tenant. But at the same time, I don't see what it benefited him. Mm-hmm. And even from what I know, like, of him as a person, which is not near what I know of Shanna, you know what I mean? He was always just, like, in the background. Like, we were acquaintances. Shanna and I were best friends. Mm-hmm. I just feel like if he was responsible for this, he would have chosen differently. That guy did not exude a lot of confidence in me that this was Mario's plan. Yeah. Not to mention the fact I still can't come up with the benefit. How does this benefit Mario? For me, that's where my head goes. Is
we still don't understand the benefit of marrying Shanna. You know.
I mean, I do think he liked her.
Yeah.
And I do think he even grew. I mean, I think he loved her. I mean, I heard him say, you know, love you, babe. You know what I mean? That was, you know what I mean? But, like, he just, I don't know. There's some guys you think, oh, you know, you'd be a great husband. You're the marrying kind. And then there's other ones you think, you'd be better single. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you don't have to follow the rules. You'd be better single. You know what I mean? And when you got a wandering zipper, to me, you should be better single.
I think that's the best way I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
I've never heard
Hold
that.
Hold on. Give me one moment.
Wandering.
First. All right. Now, do you mind if I quote you on that one later on down the road when I make that joke at a bar or something? You know, like.
Feel free.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I think that was the thing. My biggest question was, you know, he just. I feel like for him, you know what I mean? Like, because if he didn't have a military background. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you always think, everyone's seen American Sniper. You know what I mean? It's like, right. Surely you got that friend that's a sniper. You know what I mean? Right? I don't know. I've never been in the military. I got a brother who was. Mm-hmm. You know? But I just think if you were in the military, like, there's way better ways, you know?
Well, I mean,
not to make myself sound like a criminal, because I really
that's assuming that there's a lot of criminals in the military, which...
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying sometimes
but you're also asking a sniper who, yes, they have the ability...
Well, yeah, but would
the
they?
Skill set.
And would they do that for you? What are you going to do for me if I do that? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's my...
Exactly, like you said. Like, there's the give and the take.
Right, and that's my thing. What does that give Mario? Mm-hmm. You were getting divorced before this. What does him gone? He was going to be gone from your life if you're not in hers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what's the benefit? Mm-hmm. You didn't make anything... You know what I mean? Like, this didn't make anything better. This made everything worse.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Well, you know, we're still digging into it, so
yeah,
we're gonna keep digging into it. Do you have any other questions?
Just for clarification, you had mentioned earlier about you don't listen to her noise because it unnerves you. Who's her?
Kirsten.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about Shanna.
No. Just Kirsten just bothers me. Like, she tries just from the day one.
Day one of the murder.
The morning after.
The morning after.
You know, it has been. She told Shanna, whatever you do, don't talk to the media, don't talk to the press, don't say his name in the press. Mm-hmm. Shanna said, okay.
Yeah.
Shanna was silent. And I feel like she took those next several weeks to create this narrative of all the bad things that he told her about Shanna. I mean, I think she was in his phone at one point. I know she was in his phone at one point as the picture Voldemort.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's how he had Shanna. That's how Jared had Shanna in his phone as Voldemort.
I apologize. I'm gonna need a little reference.
Harry Potter? Come on, bro.
The one thing.
All right, we'll talk later.
Okay.
It's just a scary guy. You know what I mean?
Okay,
He's,
all right.
it's like a monster kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's what her picture was, because the kid was saying, Mom, when we FaceTime you, there's a monster. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then the girl in between the two of them said it was Voldemort, and that's how he had her picture. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I just feel like, I don't know. My analytical mind says you are trying way too hard to push everything to Shanna and not even let anyone connect dots themselves with actual information that we have.
All right.
That bothers me.
Fortunately, we don't.
I know.
We don't do our job off of what the media or people say. We take a very, I've dedicated my last year of my life to this case, and we don't listen to outside noise. So
yeah,
we go where the facts are.
Well, I'm grateful for that, because if you were listening to social media, the case had been closed in April.
Right now, I quit with social media years ago. I can't even. It's just. Yeah. It's a waste of my time. But
yeah,
I'll date myself. I graduated from college before Facebook was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So never had one, never will. And once you don't take that first hit of social media, it's pretty easy to stay off of it entirely,
The only reason I had any social media accounts was because I wanted to know who my kids' friends were. Because you can learn a lot of things. Because kids are stupid, and I learn more things from your friends than I do from you sometimes.
Right.
So
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm the cool mom. Everyone comes to my house, or back in the day, they'd come to my house, and so
It's funny you say that, just because, again, don't do social media and everything, but like, we do a carpool for school, and I was picking up these other kids in the neighborhood, and I thought it was going to kind of mess with my one-on-one time with my kid, like I wasn't going to get that me and him talking, but then having that other person in the car,
you learned a lot of things,
would elicit more conversation than the good, fine, all right.
My kid drives me crazy. I'm like, what'd you do today? Nothing.
Yeah.
And then my wife will be like, you gotta like, and she'll start, and he'll start, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, just tell me how your damn day was.
Yeah. I've learned, like, you gotta do the open-ended questions.
Yeah.
You can't do the define. You gotta be like, what'd you do at recess today?
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
like,
she
does with them, and it gets
what was your favorite part of the day?
Yeah. What was your least favorite part of the day?
Yeah.
I wish I had your life.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, I would take that in a heartbeat,
Exactly.
So, oh man, let me think here. Let's see. I'll be right back. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I've been helping out a little bit, with the whole homicide investigation. It's like I don't know everything.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because
somebody's still out there.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just trying to help out when I can. Of course, it doesn't help that I show up late to the interview.
No, you're fine. I showed up
I
early.
apologize.
I told you, I showed up early.
Yeah.
Like, I told him, I was like, I have a 10:30, and I was like, but, I'll come after. And then,
So do you work with a landscaping company also?
Oh, no, I just have labs to be drawn.
Oh, okay.
I was just running to the doctor to get labs, that was all.
Oh, all right. So everything all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Routine.
Good. I should probably go to the doctor at some point.
Yeah, me too.
I always like next month.
Once you go once, that's all you'll do.
Really?
My husband's so pissed. I made him go for the first time in like our marriage, and he was like, because his ankle was hurting. He's like, well, 10 appointments and a surgery later,
Yeah.
It's constant. You know what I mean? He's like, if you never go, then they don't keep bringing you back in.
Sure. Very true.
So I guess you could kind of do in any interview, regardless, whether I've been in from the beginning or wherever I picked up. Just I always end it with like, tell me your thoughts on where, depending on who the person is, how do you think things are? Where, if you have any other input or anything else you can add, like, go ahead.
I really told you all I got. I mean, I just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of watching this as it unfolds, like the rest of the world. But I try to keep mine to press conferences and
Right.
things like that, you know. I really don't have any other thoughts other than what I've shared.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hopefully this will all be over soon for the kids, and they can kind of start moving on and
Hopefully
get it all straightened
What?
out.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm being rude, but you said one of the tenants was a smoker. Which one was that?
I don't know. I just know she said one of them was a smoker, so
Okay.
she avoided.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I just okay. No, if you don't know, you don't know. No problem.
And I don't even know if that's current. You know what I mean? Like, he's had that house the whole time they were married. I don't know how much turnover there is in the tenancy. I have no idea.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
And I learned that probably at the beginning of her marriage. So unless, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know, because that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was the thing that, you know what I mean? Like, any friend that he had that smoked was not allowed to come inside the house because she was that allergic.
I get that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's disgusting. I can't.
Yeah. But, like, she would react to it on your clothes. You didn't have to be smoking. Like, she reacted if it was on your clothes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember that specifically, that somebody there smoked.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that okay. I mean, you don't know, you don't know. I can't think.
So I'm saying, I feel like I'm only helpful to a point.
Well, you're more helpful than anything. Like I was saying earlier, it's difficult finding someone who knows, you know, before, during, after, kind of both sides, you know, and that's difficult.
Well, like I said, you would have had a whole slew of people if there wasn't such transiency and move-ins, move-out. You know what I mean? Like, there used to be the whole building knew who that family was, especially when that family attended. Like, you'd have, you know what I mean? But at this point in time, people come and go, and you know what I mean? Who they keep in contact with and who they don't.
Yeah, no,
you know?
It's tough. It's tough. So, I mean, it's been, and we may, if you don't mind, I may call you in the future just to sit down again and see what, you know, where things are, if you don't mind. Because I think a lot of times, you know, it's nice to kind of keep that grounded perspective, you know what I mean, in terms of, like, you know, we get all this information in, right, and then we try and make sense of it, and it's like, okay, well, this person's telling me this about this person's telling me this about this person, where does it make sense and where does it fall in? And, you know, sometimes I think it's best to sit down with somebody that knows this person and run those things against that person and see, okay, you know, what are we getting and how do we make sense of it? So
you've known, I mean, I feel like you're in a spot, because I think one thing Lamont said was you've known Jared for a long time, right?
I think he was like 12 or 13 when his family moved here.
Oh, wow, okay. From?
I think it was the Midwest.
Okay.
Somewhere there. I don't know exactly. Somewhere.
How old was he when he died? I don't know. I should, but I don't.
Was he 30?
he came into the investigation a little late.
Yeah.
33?
33.
Maybe? Was that what it said? I don't know.
I always make that mistake assuming everybody's the same age as me, and I can't do that.
I think he was 33. I think. Because I think there's 2 years between him and Shanna, and she's 35.
Oh, okay.
I think. Maybe.
She older?
So yeah, 20 years.
I need to look. I need to go back and look.
I think.
It's been so long since I looked at that stuff.
Pretty sure she's 30. I know she's 35, and I think. Well, yeah, because you see it all over the news. 33-year-old father of 4. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
She's 35, so she's older than him.
She's older than him.
That's interesting. Normally it's the other way
I
around.
normally do see the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got like 20 years of history with Jared, and
well,
what was he like as a kid? Just, you know, like.
They asked me that the first time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was an ass.
Okay. Like
he came in about 6 months ago, so he missed our first year.
Yeah. Well, I think John's asked me how was he as a kid, and I said he was an ass. He was the guy that broke all the girls' hearts, and you know what I mean. Like, he would date them, and then he was just so mean and just, you know what I mean. Like, like why anyone would date him if you knew someone that dated him before was always baffling to me. Mm-hmm. Like, if you heard the story of how, you know, this girl's been crying for 3 months for whatever you did to her, and you know what I mean. And then,
I mean, he didn't have a wandering zipper, did he?
I have no idea.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, I just wanted to use your term, your phrase.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But you don't know people sometimes. I would doubt it.
Gotcha. Okay.
What
so
I
was he just rude or?
He's very controlling.
Okay.
He's a narcissist.
All right.
Which is so funny to me because that's what they've painted Shanna in the news to be, as a narcissist, and it makes me laugh. I'm like, no, she marries narcissists. she isn't one. She marries them.
Yeah.
Successfully.
Attracts them.
Interesting you say that. So you would describe Mario as a narcissist as well?
Yeah, in a different way.
Yeah, I gotcha.
He's in a different way.
Like which way?
Like some narcissists, like I don't know, like for Jared. So like we walked in the door one time, me and Shanna, into her house, and like there's a box of hair dye sitting on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting there. And I'm like, did you forget to do something? And she's like, I didn't get that. And then when I left, well, I just put that there because I thought you'd look so much better if your hair was that color. Like, did you know what I mean? You know, when they were splitting, you know, his things were more like, when they were splitting up, it was, she would call me on a Sunday and make sure I was going because she was going to sit with me, especially because they were just trading off, even under the same roof with the kids every couple days.
Yeah.
And she would say, "Are you going to be there?" Yes. And she'd just put me on mute and she'd turn the phone over.
Yeah.
Or I'd put me on mute.
Right.
She'd turn the phone upside down and he'd come in. "What are you doing?" "Getting ready for church." "My church? You know no one wants you there. They all think you're a..." You know what I mean? Like things like that's the Jared I know. This one that the news is talking about, that everybody loved him, he's hand-to-man neighbory in the neighborhood. He couldn't do crap. He couldn't fix anything when he's married to her. Nothing.
Yeah.
Now he's like building garden boxes and doing all the things. I mean, maybe he watches YouTube. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just saying. What I see and what I knew,
Right.
not same. Although I do believe he had to have some form of an evolution between Shanna and then Emily, and then, I mean, you lost 2 in a row, and then the new wife, like, something had to change, and
Right.
his image was very, very important to him.
Gotcha.
Whereas Mario, I don't really think he cares about his image. Or because if you did, you wouldn't post half the stupid crap he used to post. You know what I mean? You're going to post some anti-God thing on Easter. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think he cares what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But he just, I don't know. He's just different. I feel like I know he's a narcissist.
He's different being Mario.
Mario's
Okay.
different. Mario is different than Jared. I don't think Jared cheated on Shanna. I know Shanna didn't cheat on Jared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All the nights he accused her of being gone, she was on my couch. So, you know what I mean? So those are the things that I wish that the public could see the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't want the kids to grow up and read things.
So what was this probably has no real bearing or anything, but I know there was the one news company went and interviewed her trainer what was the deal with that? What was the backstory of all that? And
that was not her trainer, for starters. Which is so comical because, you know, the same news company said that her trainer was Mario. She didn't even meet Mario until years after she divorced Jared. And they alluded, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, Mario was her trainer at Crawford. No, it's all stupid. It's all stupid. Like, nothing that he said married up with what actually was. Because she ended up dating the guy after they were divorced.
Was it that guy?
Not the guy that was talking.
Who was that guy? Did she ever even know him?
Anonymity. The guy that she was her trainer.
Mm-hmm.
He was 2-time, and he was, you know, he was the flirt at the Y, and he had a girlfriend out of town, and he was telling her that Shanna was a stalker, and really, you know, he's telling her all the things, you know, you need to leave that guy or whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't believe that whoever they talked to, which their name never came out, it wasn't the trainer. It wasn't.
So you think that guy was just trying to create?
He saw the reward, is what I think. You asked me what my thoughts are. That's what I thought. He saw the reward and thought, oh, well, I'll say, you know what I mean? And I can't tell you that she didn't know other people that went out. You know what I mean? They would go out and she would socialize or whatever, but like, my analytical mind says, okay, by your own admission, we were out drinking, you know, 8 years ago, and I remember her saying, you know, I wish someone could shut him up. okay, in the heat of everyone's separate, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my sister's going through an awful divorce now too, and she's like, my life will never be peace till he's dead. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean she's going to put a hit out on him. You know what I mean? I think every angry, bitter divorce, you say things that are not necessarily you mean.
Yeah, no,
And if this would have happened 8 years ago, I might have had more thoughts. But you know what I mean? Like, you're halfway through your sentence of, you know what I mean, sharing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why now? Things were even right now. Things were even keeled between the two of them. So like, doesn't make sense.
Gotcha. There was a question I wanted to ask, something you said, and I'm just trying to replay it in my head. Mario's a different type of narcissist. Jared was. I mean, did you warn Shanna about Jared's attitude with the women he dated? Or
I didn't know Shanna until
you didn't
after
know
she
Shanna?
married
Okay.
him. She married him. He left, went to Utah.
Gotcha.
They only dated through text.
Oh, really?
She visited Florida one time.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get introduced to her, and then he went out there, and then a couple weeks later they got married. Like it was another. I mean, it was like history repeated itself. That was my thing. It was like you didn't know him either, and look, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like what is your deal with not knowing men before you marry them? But it was a quick one. Like I guess on paper they were back and forth with text, but like physical contact dating. I don't know, 2 weeks. But I mean, she was set up by Carly.
Mm-hmm. Is it normal? Is that like a normal?
In the church?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Like
normal
real
like
quick.
our courtship thing? Like if you could say there was a normal or average.
Because I've heard like multiple things, so
I think it really depends on your parents.
Mhm.
Like, ain't no kid of mine would be marrying somebody after 2 months because I'd lose my crap on you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If I'm paying
Yeah.
for this wedding, we're going to know somebody.
Yeah.
All of us are going to know somebody.
Mhm.
I completely get that.
Okay?
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of kids, they'll go out to BYU and, you know, you get out there in January and, you know, by April, you're going to, you know, that's usually the joke.
Yeah.
Are they going to hold out? Are they going to be engaged by the end of the semester? You know what I mean? Like, it's not uncommon, but one of the things that I will say is, like, in the church, and I don't know if it works this way in all churches, but, you know, in the LDS church, like, Mormons are known for being honest and trusting,
Mhm.
and they say more Mormons are in the CIA than any other religion of you know, people, because they're known for their honesty and, you know, this and that and the other. And so I think a lot of times girls, and maybe even guys, you know, think that if you've got the resume of you're a member of the church and, you know what I mean, you checked all the boxes, then
Mhm.
this will be great.
I can make it
We
work.
have the same core value, belief system, whatever, and I do believe that it is easier when, you know, it's like a Catholic, and I mean, I got a friend that's Catholic and a Jew.
Mhm.
They're married, they make it work, but it'd be a lot easier if they were both the same.
Yeah,
Right.
that's,
You know what I mean? Because your kids, what are you? Are you mom or your dad?
in combination.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, and you're encouraged to marry within the church because it does make things easier, especially for the kids. You know what I mean? You don't have to go to mass in one day, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would say it's not unusual,
Mhm.
but the more time that passes, people are seeing that, you know, marriages are breaking apart left, right, and center, no matter what your faith is.
Right.
And even in the church, they used to hold this standard where, you know, if you're married in the church, you know what I mean? Like, we had this statistic that, you know, the families stay together longer. That's not true anymore.
Right.
And I think as this generation is
These are more just a sign of the times, really.
right,
Yeah.
and you know, these kids are much more wise. You know what I mean? Like, too many people ask too many questions now, which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing for me. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not asking questions, you're not stretching, you're not growing. You know, don't just believe something. You know, go find the answer. You know what I mean? Like, don't just believe what someone tells you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we haven't learned that in the past few years,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just don't take something at face value because, you know, your governor said it or the president said it or whatever. Like, You need to do your homework a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened. I think this generation isn't just satisfied with, well, this is how mom did it and grandma did it and great grandma did it. You know what I mean? And so today I don't think that is as prevalent as it was, 15 years ago, 14 years ago when Shanna got married the first time.
Yeah, I can say because we're not that far removed. Like, it's just funny how quickly things have changed,
Yeah.
So, I
think that's it.
Yeah.
Is there anything, you got any questions or anything like that? I like to ask people that.
Can I ask you what your thoughts are?
Nice try.
You asked.
Yeah.
I was honest.
My thoughts are that I will stay open-minded and we'll look at everything that comes in.
All right.
But other than that question, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay. Did I give you a card the last time we spoke?
Probably.
If I didn't, here's another card. You can call me anytime or email me anytime. That phone number goes to all of my devices, so I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Something comes up, something pops in your mind, or I know it sounds like you're a lot like me and running things through your head. So if something pops in there that maybe makes sense to some questions that we were asking here today, just feel free to give us a call.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think I'm good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just
hope I didn't take too much of your time. I know.
No, it's okay.
I think yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I know. I'm racking my brain. I don't want to keep you here any longer than you've already been really gracious to meet with us. I guess I'm good. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you mind if I do think of something else? Again, because when you're late to the party, whether today or through the whole thing, it's just sometimes you need a fresh set of eyes, and that's kind of why I'm here. And I'll try not to be overly repetitive, but if I would like to ask you some questions later on, would you mind if I did that?
Like, just call me?
Yeah, just call you or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, you just really enjoy hanging out in this room with that alligator. Yeah.
This is our
yeah.
He's our buddy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's been here.
He don't
through
help
it all,
much. He
man.
doesn't. He's not very talkative.
He's heard a lot of things.
I bet he has. If he could talk.
Right.
Hours and hours and hours of communication. But he doesn't complain. So
probably doesn't eat much.
No, he a little bit of greens every now and then.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Well, I will walk you out.
All right. Well, it's nice to meet you.
You also. Take care, and again, thank you. I apologize for being late.
Again, I was early. Y'all have a good weekend.
Take care.
Shortly after Kim's interview, Henry Tennant pleads guilty to second-degree murder and agrees to cooperate with prosecutors. Mario Fernandez Saldana is indicted and arrested the same day. Shanna Gardner is arrested 5 months later. Prosecutors believe Shanna and Mario saw Jared as a constant source of conflict and an obstacle to their new life together. They allege the couple recruited Mario's tenant Henry to carry out the killing. Henry lay in wait and ambushed Jared on his way home after dropping off his twins, gunning him down in the middle of the road. He was then paid $10,000 for the homicide. Under the terms of his plea agreement, Henry is expected to receive a 15-year sentence. But in a shocking twist, Henry seeks to withdraw his guilty plea and requests a trial, stating he wouldn't testify against Shanna or Mario. At the time of publication, the legal proceedings are ongoing. Both Shanna Gardner and Mario Fernandez Saldana have pleaded not guilty and are awaiting trial. We will bring you updates as they develop.